There is a lot of action to look forward to tonight. I know you're pretty excited about this program.
Well, it is track and field, but I think the track's going to be a highlight tonight. Look, it is the 3,000 metre championships here for the Australian Championships. It's a big point scoring event for the 5,000 metre runners, so we're going to see some of our best distance runners go toe to toe. And we're talking about distance, the 800 metres. We've got Peter Bolt again, he's back out here. You know, Jeff Risey, another Olympian from last year. Joseph Deng, our old Australian record holder, he's racing. And in the women's event, Benderia Boyer, but against Claudia Hollingsworth. She's out here again tonight, and I'm hearing rumours that there could be a sub-2 on the cards.
Ooh, that would be pretty special if there was a sub-2. Now, Lynchy, we're having mic problems, so I'm going to share my mic with you because what you said then was Claudia Hollingsworth could break 2 minutes, you've heard, in the 800 metres. And if she does that, that would be very, very special.
Well, not only on this track, this is the track that Katrina Bissett broke sub-2 for the first time as well. So it's been done. It's a good place for firsts.
Well, there is a lot to look forward to, but we have also had some great events on already this evening, starting with the men's hammer throw. And we know that the winner in the men's hammer throw was Ned Weatherly. And you know what I like the most about Ned when he throws? Got to be his celebrations.
Well, we were in underneath before with the officials room, and I said, look, if he throws a PB, we're probably going to hear it. And he did throw a PB, and we did hear it.
We did. And, you know, he's been throwing pretty well down in Victoria, so we're pretty excited to see how he was going to go when he came up to compete against the other hammer throw guns that were out there competing. But you're watching the screen now, Ned. You've joined us here. How did the competition go for you tonight?
Yeah, it was a pretty slow start. So I fouled the first round, and then I think I threw 66. And just a huge shout out to Tim Hayes as we're watching him right there. The big lefty threw out a huge PB. I think it was a 3 metre PB for him of 68.31. So he really put me on my toes, and I had to pull something out. But yeah, developed through the comp and got a 68.71, which is a PB for me, which is just awesome. It's been 2 years since I got a PB, so it was an awesome comp.
Well, we talk about, the track runners talk about a fast track. I've heard Dani Stevens replace this as a fast circle. Is it a fast circle for hammer?
Look, I know that the circle just got relayed, so the concrete, look, to me, it feels really good. I think that they've relayed the surface and may have put some kind of maybe acid or something on it to give it a bit of wear so it's not lightning. But yeah, it's a really good circle, smooth, and you get a lot out of it if you're throwing well. So yeah.
Now, for people back home, they might not know, you're a police officer as well, and you've also been doing some ridiculously long hikes. It's not like a thrower to be wanting to do a lot of distance work.
No. Yeah, I love my hiking. I love getting out in nature, and I think doing the job that I do, it is very taxing on the mind sometimes, and it's very taxing on the body. So sometimes it's just good to get out into nature and just to switch off from everything. So I just recently did the Surf Coast walk, which is from Fairhaven Surf Lifesaving Club to Point Impossible. So it was about 45k. So I did it didn't plan very well. Did it with a 20 kilo pack on my back, and did it in a day. So I did it in about 9 hours, and yeah, I was feeling it the next day. But I love it. It's a good way to get out into nature and yeah, switch off from everything.
Well, Ned, it's always a joy to speak to you. Congratulations on your personal best. Well done. You go and enjoy that now.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks very much. Thank you. And it wasn't just the men out there competing tonight. The women were throwing at the exact same time. And Alex Hulley, she was back out there in that circle and doing what she does best, winning the competition and winning with a great throw.
This is the venue that when she did throw her personal best back in 2020 against Gwen Berry. When Gwen Berry came out here and took the scalp of Gwen Berry, which is a pretty big, something to put on there.
Gwen Berry's a huge name. Now we're joined by Alex. Alex, what a fabulous competition. You've really started this season off with some great consistency in your throwing.
Yeah, thank you. This season has definitely started so much better than last season. We've really worked on consistency in comps, and I think it's showed in my results this season already. Yeah.
Well, you got the silver medal in that Commonwealth Games in 2018. It's a Commonwealth Games year. Is that where your aspirations lie this year, or are you still thinking that you want to go to that World Champs as well and take on people like Gwen Berry, who you know you can beat when you put up against them?
Look, I think we're going to take it one step at a time this year. There's been a lot of challenges thrown at me, but we're finally on the right path, and I'm getting there right when it counts at the end of the season. So definitely to defend my title at Com Games would be amazing, or my silver medal at Com Games would be amazing to get there again, and definitely to be at a World Champs would be awesome too. But I think Com Games is definitely sort of my focus this year. Yeah.
Well, we know you're a great competitor. Every time you have made that Australian team, you've been very competitive and you've managed to get yourself onto that podium. How has training been going? Is it something that you've been working on, that consistency, so that the big throw, that 70 metre plus throw that you've done before, is going to come back out this season as well?
Yeah, definitely. What we've been doing is sort of working on building my comp average up. So last year I didn't really have a great season. It was up and down each sort of comp, but this year it's been consistently high. So hopefully if we can keep it at that high level, then the 70 metre throws, they'll come easier than jumping, down, up each comp. They'll just come easier every comp. Yeah.
And what about from here? Where do you go for the domestic season? Where's your next competition?
The next comp will be the Nationals back here in 3 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. That'd be awesome.
Well done, Alex. That was a fabulous competition. You've got to be happy. Another great throw. Good luck for the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tamsin. Thank you, everyone.
Now, Lynchy, you're coming back in?
Yeah, well, this is out of batteries, so looks like we're on one microphone, but look, we'll get through it.
Well, it's been a pretty special day so far for the athletes. The field events have started off and we're looking forward to the main program to come a bit later. But, we've got some special guests coming up. We have Dani Stevens, who's going to join us soon. But there's been a lot of talk around some of the athletes that have been competing overseas so far this year. The World Indoor Team was recently announced, and you can see that on the screen. Who are you looking forward to competing next weekend in Serbia, Lynchy?
Well, I got a Central Coast connection to Charlie Hunter. I'm looking forward to some of these names you might not know. So Tom Willems, he won the under-20s back here in 2017. He's been overseas, I think at Colorado State University, and he'll be one to watch. He's a new name on the scene. You might see there in that 1,500 metres. Unfortunately, Stuart McSwaney has pulled out. It's going to be replaced by Jack Anstey, a young Queenslander. So I think that'll be very exciting as well in that 1,500.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, Jack Anstey is that athlete who, he 6 months ago he was contemplating giving the sport away, and then it's amazing what you can achieve when you hang in there. And he's moved to Flagstaff to train and found himself on an Australian team. But it is a great indoor team, and I think that we're going to get some medals out of that team next weekend.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, especially watching Ash Maloney. He's actually never done an indoor heptathlon, but that's something where, his long throws weren't the greatest of the events that he did over in Tokyo, but there's no long throws indoors. So I think it's going to actually be right up his alley.
And there was a 10,000 metres on during the week. Jack Rayner went overseas to California and he broke that area record, which was very, very special.
Hey guys, Jack Rayner here. Event is anything from, say, 5K up to a marathon, and I'm coached by Nick Bideau. I didn't choose the marathon really. I just kind of got pushed to it because I wasn't quite good enough on the track, but I think it was a good way to kind of get some more experience, train for longer distance, and then see how that went, and then, go back to the track after a few unsuccessful attempts at the marathon. So, now I've kind of found a bit of form that I knew I had in me, but never really got a chance to show it. Now focusing on running national 3K and 5K. So that'll be good to go back and do some shorter distances that I haven't really had a proper go at yet. Then after that, I think I'll go to Europe for a little bit and do another few track races over there, hopefully, before going over to the US for World Champs. Away from the track, you'll find me coaching with Pulse Running. So that's been taken off the last few years, which has been great. I do that with Collis Birmingham and Brett Robinson. So, a lot of our time's gone into that. But other than that, I do have a lot of free time. So you can find me at the dog park a lot of the time or at cafes.
Well, that was a pretty special run, Jack. 10,000 metre national record, area record, and he's back in Australia already. He's got great future this season. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do over the marathon as well. Let's go to a quick break, and our special guest is after that break.
It's important to stay hydrated, and that 8 glasses of water per day is recommended. Though for many of us, that's easier said than done. That's why more Australians are making Hydrolite part of their daily rehydration routine. Hydrolite is scientifically formulated to rapidly rehydrate faster than water alone, with products suitable for every member of the family, so you can embrace life's everyday moments. You'll find the Hydrolite range for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse.
guest with us, Dani Stevens. You know, she's recently announced her retirement. Has there been anything that she hasn't really achieved in this sport? You know, she was world champion at such a young age in 2009. She's a double Commonwealth Games gold medalist. You know, she was fabulous at a junior. She's got a collection of medals, hasn't she? You know, 4th in that Olympics in Rio. Fabulous athlete.
I know, and it was one of those things where after winning the World Champs in 2009, everyone would have thought, oh, she's got the Australian record. But no, it wasn't until 2017 that she got that silver at the World Champs, that she finally got that Australian record, got that big PB. And I think we all felt it was just so exciting and a bit of a relief too, just like, yes, finally.
Well, I think it's pretty special that we've got her here. Dani, now it's the next phase of your life, isn't it? You're pregnant, congratulations. We've just gone through your highlights of your career. Can you give us what the main highlight was? It's hard.
It is really hard. I've had some really great experiences with the Commonwealth Games, experiencing 2 in Australia, in Melbourne in 2006 and Gold Coast in 2018. I think having your family and friends around has made those stand out a lot. But yeah, throwing your PB is probably pretty good. That comp in London, even though the London Olympics were fantastic for the vibe and the crowd, and again, family and friends were there. So yeah, but I think when I reflect back, it's more the people that you meet. And I know I used to hear athletes who have retired say that, and you're like, oh yeah, but it really is when you look back. It was 18 years of my life, and yeah, the people that I've met are lifelong friends, and I've learnt so much from them. So yeah, that's kind of my favourite bits.
I've got a mic again. Let's give this a shot. So Dani, you know, I grew up in New South Wales, and you were part of Westfield Sports High. You're basically like the Americans, the USA. You were just dominant everywhere. Did an environment like that help you as you were developing as a junior?
I definitely think so. My coach Dennis Knowles already coached there. So I actually went there for basketball originally, and so my family was a sporting family, and all my cousins and my older sister, and eventually my younger brother and sister went there as well. So I think it definitely showed you what was possible, and the amount, not the amount of training, but how you applied yourself to training. Yep. It didn't mean you had to be on the track or in the gym for 40 hours a week or anything, but it really showed you that if you applied yourself in those training sessions, that attention to detail, you could go a really long way. And for me, 11 and 12 and pathways over year 12 coincided with World Youth and World Juniors, so that was kind of the time that I decided I really wanted to, you know, to see what my potential was in shot put and discus. So I had the opportunity through Westfields and having more time with Dennis to be able to do that. And it was a really competitive environment, but it was always academics first. If you didn't perform academically, you weren't allowed to go to the swimming carnival.
I like that.
I love that. And, you know, I know how important your teammates were, and we have something for you that your teammates wanted to give you some messages. So if you look down at the box here, your teammates are really, really important to you. Well, you're special for them too.
Dani, thank you for being such an inspiration to myself and so many others. I always enjoyed watching you throw and always admired your passion, professionalism and dedication to being one of the best female discus throwers of all time.
Watching Dani win the world title in the discus in 2009 World Championships, which was actually my first World Championships as well. I was 19, and seeing Dani win that was inspiring to me and something I'll always remember.
I've loved following Dani's journey over the years, and I think what I'm most excited about now is as she enters into the new chapter of motherhood. I'll be following very closely as I too enter into a new chapter of motherhood. It's just another whole journey that I will gather inspiration from, as well as her athletic career.
Dani Stevens was the person who inspired me to become a world champion in 2011. I roomed with her in 2009 when she won her first world title, and when I went into 2011 I was thinking, what would Dani do to win these championships, and that's how I did it. So thanks Dani, and have a great retirement.
I feel very privileged to have her as one of my best friends, and she's given me so much advice as being an athlete, but also one of my go-to people for advice just in life in general. So I thank her for everything that she's done for me and for the sport, and just for giving back and being such an amazing person for everyone in the sport. So yeah, we love you and we loved your career, and we can't wait to see what you do later in life.
Dani Stevens, what a legend. Not only an insanely talented, dedicated athlete and fierce competitor, but an absolutely amazing human being. kind, loyal, generous, fun to be around, and someone that I am lucky enough to call a friend for life. Happy retirement, Dani.
Stop it, guys. I'm going to cry, hormonal as it is. That's so nice. I love all of those people there, and all the memories that they have brought up are so vivid in my mind, and I admire each of them equally. I could have my own stories about them as well. Like, I remember Ryan at 2009 World Championship, seeing him in the lift afterwards. I've roomed with all the girls there, and just, you get to know each other on a human level outside of competing and training and that, and it's really.
There's one more. There's one more. You talk about your roommates. It would have been really bad if we missed this one, but there's one more. Kim Mickle.
Hey, Dani. Geez, where do I start? I remember you when I was 21. It was my first senior international meet, which was the 2006 Commonwealth Games in Melbourne, and I thought I was doing pretty well, getting 4th place, being like still 21, pretty young. But then this raggedy old bloody 17-year-old came through and dropped a bomb and got a bronze medal at her very first event as well, and kind of put me to shame. And I think from then on we've kind of bonded, and I think have been roommates ever since. But I know a lot of people will be rattling off all your achievements, which have been just absolutely insane, but I reckon they're probably forgetting the most important one and most impressive one in my mind, and that was the Ferrero Rocher 1 minute challenge, where you managed to get 8 in 1 minute, and the world record is actually 9. So I think that should be actually put up on a mantelpiece. You should have a medal for that, because I think you still hold the Aussie record for that. Look, I hope you enjoy your night. I just am still so impressed with your whole career. And you've made everyone proud as punch. Massive shoes to fill for the next up-and-coming discus throwers, but a huge legacy you've left. So awesome job, mate.
Oh, I think I have laughed the hardest in my life when rooming with Kim Mickle. She is the funniest person ever.
I'm not surprised.
She emceed Joe in my wedding. She's one of my great friends. She's so funny, and the reason behind that Ferrero Rocher story was because it was after the 2013 World Championships in Moscow, and I didn't perform how I wanted to. I was pretty upset, and I was sitting there kind of just being a sad sack, and she's like, "Righto, let's get a challenge going." So Kim loves a challenge. She loves a game. And she's like, we had Ferrero Rocher sitting there because this challenge had been going around. She's like, right, give it a go. And I think I was just channeled all my adrenaline into it, and I just hoed down 8 Ferrero Rochers in a very short space of time. Not my proudest moment, but, maybe in other people's eyes it was. So Kim just has the ability to make everybody smile and just bring out the best in everyone. So, it just brings it back to who you are, and back to normal. And while we pour our heart and soul into it, it's in the end it's sport, and we're doing it because we love it, and it's a privilege to do it. So those people are awesome.
Well, Dani, you're an absolute star. We just appreciate you taking the time to come and chat to us on the pre-show. But congratulations on a fantastic career, and we're going to miss you. Maybe after the bub comes along, there'll be a comeback. But thank you.
Well, yeah, no, we'll see.
Oh, you didn't say no.
Well, I always said I won't be able to stay away. That's why I'm here tonight. So I'm keen to see the discus and everything, all the other events happening. So, yeah, I don't think I'll ever be stepped fully away from athletics. So you'll always see me around, whether in what capacity, I don't know what. But, I'm excited for the future.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dani. Thanks so much for coming along. Appreciate it. Now, the men's pole vault also happened this evening, and it didn't really go exactly to plan for some of the athletes in the meet, but it certainly did for Dalton, who's joined us this evening. You took the chocolates, now 5:15, but you had some attempts at 5:35 as well.
It was difficult conditions. The wind was a bit swirly for all the athletes. Everyone jumped well considering. Had an attempt at 5:35, which would have been a PB. Third attempt, got the height, but just didn't get the right timing with the distance. But yeah, done well.
do you see this sets you up for Nationals? You know, Nationals is going to be here as well, and, you know, you might not be at that end, you might be down here, but,
Yeah.
you know, taking a win here on that calibre sort of athletes, obviously
Sure.
it's missing Curtis, but,
Yeah.
you know, you took the win.
Yeah, no, I'm extremely happy, and this event is very good because it's basically the same athletes for Nationals, so
Yeah.
basically it gets me ready for that comp. Should be good.
Just one last question. The Box Hill singlet is pretty famous for pole vaulting, isn't it?
Yeah, Steve Hooker, we got him. My coach made it clear that we had to wear Box Hill until we get sponsored by any other
That's fair.
thing because they're a bigger sponsor. So yeah, go Box Hill.
There you go.
Love it. Bit of club action for Victoria. They'll love it too. Well done, Dalton. That was a fabulous effort. Well done on the win. Well, there's lots more to look forward to, Lynchy.
No, there is. I can't wait for tonight. It's going to be such a fantastic... As you can see here, this is the triple jump that was on the back straight earlier. And Emmanuel Fakai taking out that jump there. But he was your eventual winner, Ao Ore from Victoria. Oh, I'm just going to try and get over here. He's hiding in the corner. So, Ao, talk me through the competition. Obviously, you actually got to spend a bit of time in the sunshine. You know, it is a little bit cool down here, and you're down the back straight because the pole vaulters, you know, they take over the front straight sometimes. But I'm talking to a few of the triple jumpers before. They do like the back straight because, you know, the crowd gets a little bit closer.
Yeah, no, the back straight's probably the preferred one for us. So yeah, combined with sunny weather, I was expecting kind of rain, you know, given the floods and everything. So yeah, no, I couldn't have asked for better conditions. Maybe could have done some better jumps, but yeah. No.
Well, I think triple jump's one of those things, isn't it? It's just, it's not always going to go right, but when you hit it, you hit it. So 16:11, where do you think that sits on like your scale of, you know, it wasn't terrible, it's not a personal best, where does it sit?
It's just around the mark that I just can't complain about it. But like, yeah, hopefully, Nationals 2 weeks, hopefully I can go a bit further. We're all the guys in the event kind of hovering around kind of a similar mark. So every time we get out there, it's like, fuck, who can go over the line. So yeah, no, I was happy with it.
Well, it seems like that every time you turn up, it was probably just missing Connor Murphy tonight, but it's always the same one. And from our perspective, we never know who's gonna pop it out. But it does take a 16-metre jump to get over there. Do you think that having those guys every time there elevates you every week?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, that's why I like coming out here to these meets. Same guys every time, and yeah, we push each other. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to jump this far in Vic, so yeah, no, it was great.
I love it. Thank you, AO. He took out the men's triple jump, and now we are going to throw to Tamsin, who is in a very special place. We've got a secret camera up there.
Okay, so I am here at the call room, which is the room where the athletes go finally after they've done their warm-ups to get ready before they head out to the track. Now, it's quite a nerve-wracking place. I don't mean to make the ladies behind me any more nervous than they probably are. As you can see, the women's 100-metre hurdlers are in the bay getting ready for their race that's coming up in about 20 minutes' time. Now, this is where they do their final checks with the officials. They get their numbers checked, their shoes checked, and then they will get their gear on that they're going to be racing in later on the track, and then they'll head out to the track when the call is done. But this is the room where the athletes sit and they're alone with their thoughts for the last time before they walk out to that track. Emotions are high, but you have to be focused, really focused. It's a place where the athletes could be made or broken. It's one of those rooms where the athletes are in there getting ready, focusing on their final preparations, but trying to remember what the coach has told them as well. Got to try and stay relaxed, focused, not get distracted, stay calm, but it's where the athletes sometimes will get along. Let's see who we've got in here. Guys, we've got Michelle Jenica. Abby Tadeo's there as well. Celeste, how are you, Celeste? I know it's probably the last thing they want to do before they compete. And I think Danielle's there too. Hey, good luck, guys. I hope you have a really good run. The 100 hurdles, obviously we've had such great history with the hurdles. We have Sally Pearson in the crowd tonight, so I know she'll be watching very carefully this race to see how it goes. But thank you so much for joining us for the Sydney Track Classic pre-show, brought to you by Chemist Warehouse. There is a lot to look forward to in the main program. This event in particular, the women's 100 hurdles, is going to be a cracker. Stay tuned.
important to stay hydrated, and that 8 glasses of water per day is recommended. Though for many of us, that's easier said than done. That's why more Australians are making Hydrolite part of their daily rehydration routine. Hydrolite is scientifically formulated to rapidly rehydrate faster than water alone, with products suitable for every member of the family, so you can embrace life's everyday moments. You'll find the Hydrolite range for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse.
Yep. Hello and welcome to the Sydney Track Classic, where I am down trackside. A lot of action to look forward to. We've had some of the pre-events, the field events. We've seen personal bests already. Athletes are getting ready for the World Championships later this year in Eugene, Oregon, and of course the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. But tonight we've seen some great events, but we've got the 110-metre hurdles to come soon, which will feature Nick Hoff. And Sam Herwood has been running really well up there in the Queensland Championships. He had a great race. And then there's also the 2 juniors who are looking to get on that plane, because we have the World Junior Championships later this year as well. Now, there's a lot of highlights to look forward to on the program. The men's and women's 800 metres, which Matt Lynch talked about in the pre-show, is just going to be an absolute cracker. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better field in that men's 800 ever in the Australian domestic season. Pete Bowl, 4th in the Olympics, and he's got Joe Deng, his training partner, Jeff Risley, the floor-time Olympian, also in that field. So it's going to be a fabulous evening, culminating in the men's and women's 3,000 metre national championships. Let's go up to commentary, where Matt Lynch has finally made it back up there from the pre-show. Lynchy,
Yeah,
looking like a great,
there's a lot of stairs in between down there and up here, but I made it up here. Thank you very much, Tams. And I am joined by James Constantine here up in the booth for the Sydney Track Classic. James, welcome.
Thank you very much, Matt. I'm really, really excited to be here. A wonderful night of athletes in front of us. Can't wait to get started.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an absolute cracker here. As you can see, there's plenty of action going on already. This is our women's high jump competition happening in front of us here. Looks like we might be missing a couple of athletes. They're just trying to get out there for their intros, but that looks like Alexandra Harrison. I don't see a Tori West out here. Toby Stolberg, Emily Whelan, our New Zealander, Keely O'Hagan, and then Alicia Burnett. So 5 in that field from what I can see at the moment. Keely O'Hagan taking out the New Zealand title last weekend. So it's fantastic now that we've got our athletes travelling. We're getting our internationals over here. So I'm looking forward to it. But this is our first track event of the main program, the men's 110-metre hurdles. It's going to be a race. It's going to be 2 separate races here, because you can see there's no blocks in that lane, because we have our open hurdlers from lanes 1 to 7, and on the outside we have our juniors slipped in there, Taylor Willis and Mitchell Lightfoot, and it's going to be an absolute cracker.
It certainly is. Mitch Lightfoot and Taylor Willis have had a great head-to-head. Mitch actually gone for the first time at the ACT Champs recently, so watch for the second race on the outside there, but we can see in the middle, there goes the Tokyo Olympic semi-finalist Nick Huff. Sam Hurwood actually had a fantastic run against him at your Queensland State Champs recently, Lyncher. He actually got the win in 13.96, so Huff looking for a little bit of redemption here tonight.
Yeah, it was actually in that race. Cedric Dougal was actually leading, probably around hurdle 8. He absolutely smashed hurdle 8. And, you know, once you've sort of done that, it's a little bit over. But we're seeing a lot of our decathletes in there. You know, Cedric Dougal was there over in Tokyo. Dan Golubovic was 16 points off the qualifier, the individual qualifier. And their training partners now, you can see them just having a sit down in lanes 2 and 3. But I think Huff's going to be after a little bit of redemption.
Certainly. He loves this track as well. He's run so well here time and time again. You know, so many state championships, so many Sydney Track Classic wins. So I think he'll be keen for a quick one here tonight.
Yeah, he doesn't always get away out of the blocks the quickest, but he's such a downhill. He's a juggernaut. He just is such a downhill runner. He'll just power through. The hurdles are basically just a mirage to him. He doesn't really pay attention to it doesn't feel like anything when he just clobbers through them. So if he gets a clean race, I think he should be on for something special.
I've been looking forward to the two on the outside as well. Talib was supposed to be at our New South Wales Junior Championships, but unfortunately didn't get the matchup against Mitch there, but he'll be after redemption himself. As I said, Mitch Lightfoot got him at the ACT Champs, so that second race on the outside, two of the best under 20 110 metre hurdles ever for Australia. That'll be a very, very exciting race.
Yeah, 4th and 5th all time now. Talib 4th, Mitch 5th, and the first ever is Nick Huff.
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah, so on his way to a silver, back in 2012, I think it was, in Barcelona, 13.27. So, you know, they'll be chasing him. The conditions actually aren't too bad. A couple of tailwinds earlier in the program. It is a little bit cool. I don't know if that's just me being a Queenslander. I feel cold, but I think the conditions will be pretty good. The track's been lit up with, the sun's been out. It's been pumping the track.
Well, I don't think we can complain about conditions over the last few days, particularly what both our states have gone through over the last couple of weeks.
So
yeah, it's I think conditions are pretty good. We heard the triple jump boys, Aori, just talking about the conditions on the back straight. They were pretty good for them. So hopefully the same continues and we get some tails for these boys over the sprints.
I think that might have been Mitch. I don't want to say anything, but it looked like a quick start from young Mitch on the outside. This is the big stage.
It is, and he wants to get the start on Taylor. Taylor is very, very strong out of the blocks. That will certainly be in the back of his mind. So we'll soon find out.
Well, he's been shown the red.
Yeah. That's such a shame.
Oh,
such a shame.
We did talk about it. Do we jinx it? We talked about this being a duel. He's heading over to the officials. I'm sure he'll want to try and run under protest. The conditions are a negative 0.1, so pretty still out there. I know the hurdlers might like a little bit of a headwind just to sort of so they don't run into every hurdle. They do have to chop their strides anyway, but we'll see what comes of this.
Looks like he's walking off there.
Yeah, no, the singlet's off, so not to be. Looks like it's going to be nationals.
Have to wait a few more weeks, unfortunately. The match is coming. The rematch is coming.
They're just building up the anticipation. So we got our clean start. McCory getting a fantastic start. Here comes Herwood. Golubovic, Taylor Willis on the outside. He's going over the lower hurdles, but he's taking the win. Here comes Nick Huff, though. 2 more flights to clear. And Huff's going to take the win if he can on the line. 13.78. Not a bad run there from Willis, but that's redemption there for Nick Huff.
Yeah, pretty clean by Nick, has to be said. He looked very good over the last 3 or 4 flights, and I think he'll be pretty happy with that time. Well under that 14-second mark, 13.7, 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5, 7.9 it looks like for Taylor Willis, and we might see a few of our other athletes get under. Yeah, it's going to be close between them. There is McCory getting up for 3rd place, the Sally Pearson coached athlete. I reckon Dubler would have been too far off that as well. I think it's a 13.91 there for Dubler. He got under. The results is unfortunately flicked to the pole vault start list, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But a better race from Dubler. He was much cleaner there than he was at the Queensland Champs, where he smashed a few. The wind plus 0.2. So we go into our high jump competition.
I think Stolberg there just clearing 168.
Yeah, there's an unfortunately placed official's head right where the height marker is, but we'll work around that one. Stolberg, a junior, he's got a World Under-20 qualifier already under her belt.
She was very good at our state champs recently as well, was second to Erin Shaw, and Erin is the second of those under-20 qualifiers, so really good lately by Toby at this track.
Really strong at the back end. You know, it's pretty early in the season. After an Olympics last year, you're happy with where your preparation's at the moment?
Yeah, I'm glad I got that run out today. You know, had a couple of races and they were a bit slow to get started this season, but you know, after an Olympics, we sort of had a bit of a break. Went back to basics, so it takes a bit of a while to get up again, but getting there and hoping that I can keep building towards Worlds and Com Games.
Well, you do like the Commonwealth Games. You know, you're 4th and then you were 3rd in your personal best time at the Gold Coast. What are you going to do these ones?
Yeah, oh man, I'd like to keep going and get the full set of medals. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, in a way, I'm almost more excited about Com Games than World Champs this year. You know, I want to try and get there and defend my medal and see if I can get one better.
It's a strange sort of preparation for an athlete, isn't it? Because of COVID, like whacking the 2 championships in together. Does it change the way that you prepare at all?
Not really. No, it's, you know, they're so close together that, you know, it's almost like preparing for one competition, but they've sort of got 2 different qualification schemes, so that makes it a bit more difficult, but do what we can here in Australia over the next couple of weeks and then go overseas.
Well, I mean, Nick's overseas about to do the World Indoors. You weren't tempted to give it a shot, the indoors, or it's too short for you?
Yeah, well, I hadn't qualified and yeah, didn't really want to go chasing the indoor qualifier overseas. Happy to just get some training in at home and then go overseas later in the year.
Well, we're always looking forward to seeing what you do in a Commonwealth Games year, but look forward to see what you do at Nationals as well. Well done on the win tonight, Nick.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
So there are your official results. Nick Huff taking it out. McCory, redemption as well for him, 13.89. Dubler getting close to his best, 91. Sam Herwood, 14.01. Dan Golubovic, a PB for him, 14.02. Alec Diamond, also a big PB for him as well, 14.36. And Ryan Neal, 15.05. And unfortunately, Mitchell Lightfoot, we'll have to wait for that one. But we're not too far away from the women's hurdles. They're just going to redo those hurdle heights. We have our pole vault competition warming up just in front of us. And we should have 6 starters in that field.
So Emily Whelan on runway there, getting over the 173 half, the Amstown New Lambton athlete. New South Wales here tonight. She is a 185 jumper at her best for 22-year-olds. Silver at Nationals last year behind one only Nicole McDermott. And it was this track that she did clear that famous barrier in women's high jumping in this country, 2 metres. And Emily was behind her on the podium. So she'll look to go well here tonight at the Sydney Track Classic.
Yeah, they're working their way through the heights pretty quickly. And that looks like our New Zealander, Killy O'Hagan, who dropped her PB at the New Zealand Champs, 188. The meet record, 194, held by both Nicola and Eleanor. World Champ qualifier, 196. The World Under-20 qualifier, 181. Both Toby Stolberg and Alexandra Harrison are age eligible. And there's your start list for the women's pole vault competition. Jamie Scroop, Olivia Gross, Courtney Smollercombe, Raphael Corney, Elizabeth Barrell and Madeline Lawson.
Yeah, Lawson third at Nationals last year behind Nanny Kennedy and Elizabeth Parnova. So we don't have the 2 big guns here with us tonight, but we've got our bronze medalist, and should be a really good competition actually. A lot of these ladies clearing the 4 metre mark of recent times. We've got Elizabeth Barrell, our New South Wales champion, out there as well. She's been jumping well of late.
And I think they would have learnt a few things from the men's competition, just a better way to attack it, as Harrison now coming in for her attempt at 173. She goes clear there. We're going to see some dueling high jumps soon, so the men are just getting their marks set up. And if we can just throw down to Tamsin now.
I'm a little bit nervous standing here because the sprint hurdles is probably one of the most intense start places on an athletics track. Now behind me we have the 100-metre hurdle runners, Liz Clay, who of course ran so fabulously in those Olympics last year. She made that semi-final and just missed the final, so she's here having her last hit out before the World Indoors. But they will do a couple of hit outs over the hurdles before they head behind those blocks, get focused and get ready to race.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's we're hoping to add a few more sub-13-second athletes to the all-time list. And I'd say one that's knocking on the door, Abby Taddeo, is getting closer and closer every race.
She was phenomenal at our Open Championships, 13.02. She's only 2 100ths away from that magical mark now. She's just so quick. Her flat speed at the moment, I think, is really the key. Her technique's always been good, but she's just very quick at the moment. And Celeste Mucci, as you can see next to her, they have a fantastic battle. Mucci ran 12.99, just 100th outside her PB that day as well.
Yeah, and you know, jammed in between them is the second fastest all-time Liz Clay. So I think, you know, Liz ran 12.97 at the Queensland Champs. It probably wasn't the smoothest run. This would be her last race before she heads over to Belgrade for the 60 hurdles, World Indoors. So I think it's she'll be looking to obviously get a quick start, which is all she needs to do. And then obviously she's going to try and finish it off. And I think, you know, she wants that final at World Champs. She was obviously disappointed not making the final at the Olympics, but hopefully that's been something that could spur her on.
Yeah, absolutely. She's such a good competitor as well, such a tough competitor. You can see it on her face when she runs as well. Every photo of Liz is just pure determination, grit, and you know, I think she'll be looking for a good one here tonight as well.
Yeah, and we've got our 2 junior athletes in the outside lanes, Delta Amadzovsky and Georgia Fickard, who they've both got the qualifiers, so it'll be a nice little battle for them on the outside. Michelle Jeniker's in there as well. You can't count her out. Danielle Shaw, who just recently, you know, got very close to her personal best at the Queensland Championship. She's a former World Under-20 rep, so it's a class field. But if we can get 3 girls under 13 seconds, I think that would be something very special.
Oh, absolutely. And I know Michelle Jeniker has been really knocking on the door of that sub-13. Of course, her PB 12.82, and she went to the Rio Olympics, trying to regain some of that form that got her to that green gold jersey. And I think she's getting there. Hopefully tonight's her night too.
Yeah, well, you know, she's based in Queensland now, but this is a home track, basically. So I'm sure there's a few Cherrybrook fans out in the crowd.
I think there will be.
So there's your start list. No Tori West out there. So it's Danielle Shaw in 2, Taddeo 3, Clay in 4, Mucci 5, Jenica in 6, Amadzovsky in 7, Sophia Shube in lane 8, and in lane 9 it's Georgia Fickard.
There's Moochie being introduced. Of course, she went from the heptathlon at the Commonwealth Games. A really interesting decision to focus on the sprint hurdles, and a pretty good decision. She's done very well.
Next year she went to Doha for the hurdle. So
yeah.
No, she is very talented over that. She's a 640, I think, long jumper, and she's been part of our 4x1 team for quite some time. She's a 11.4 runner, so we might actually see her later on in the 100. I'm pretty sure, mixing it up again.
I think Liz Clay might be doubling as well. Or at
yeah,
least that's
I saw her on the outside.
Yeah. Delta Mizovsky has been a story as well in New South Wales. Jumped up to the under-20 hurdle height and straight on the sub-14, straight on to, well, getting a qualifier for Cali. So watch for her in the battle of the juniors as well on the outside lanes.
Sprinter or a sprint?
Away we go. Clay probably got the best of his starts, and we've just had Delta's actually just bopped out. So Liz Clay, Moochie's trying to go with her on the outside. Abby Taddeo is just losing ground. Michelle Janke coming through the middle of the field. Great New South Wales battle there, but Clay will get it 12.94. So again, not probably as quick as we're associated with Liz usually, but gets the win safely over the hurdles. And that was probably the best run I've seen by Michelle Janke for a while.
Yeah, 12.92. It's come down, negative 0.2, but she's taken the win. There's Moochie there. So 13.02 for Moochie. So very consistent running, only 0.3. So compared to her state championships, very, very close. Hopefully Delta it's nothing too serious out there, but another victory for Liz, and I'm sure she'll be happy to have that one on the belt. And like you said, got out really well.
She definitely got the start. You could see that just off the blocks from the back view we had to the athletes there, and just maintained that dominance through the race. But Michelle Janko came through really nicely late. It was actually Abby Taddeo who just got her at the end there. But yeah, like I said, I think that's probably one of the better races I've seen Michelle put together of late. Abby Taddeo, not quite as quick as she was at Opens, about 13.25 for her there.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be happy with that one. She's obviously, her thing is, I get out so much quicker. It can sometimes rattle you a little bit, but, we've got the winner, and Tamsin is down trackside with Liz Clay.
I am. Now, Liz, talk us through that race. Happy?
Yeah, I think so. I just wanted to win tonight again. I'm always nervous coming up against these girls because they are so talented. So good to get the win. A lot better than my hit out last weekend. A lot cleaner. So yeah, good signs for next weekend in Belgrade.
Well, yeah, you're going to the World Indoors next week.
Yes.
Talk to us about your goals and aspirations for the World Indoors.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm a good chance of making the final, and my first 5 hurdles are so strong at the moment. So, yeah, I really just want to go over there, have a lot of fun, enjoy the experience, see my friends, and then, yeah, perform as best I can.
You often talk about coming into your races nervous.
Yeah.
You went to the Olympic Games last year, you semi-finaled, you only found out that you missed the final after the 3rd semi ran. You were lining up against the world record holder. Do you feel a little bit more pressure this year when you line up domestically?
Yeah, and I achieved a lot last year, so I've got such high expectations of myself, and I always want to come out here and prove everybody right that I can do it. But every race I line up for, I'm nervous in the right way. I'm excited.
Well, last year you wanted to go over to the Olympics and just get all that experience in, but now you're a semi-finalist at that international level. Your goals have got to be pretty high for Eugene, Oregon World Champs.
Yeah, I think we've done a lot of work on my technique in the off-season, and it has been really quite hard coming back from Tokyo, such a quick turnaround. But yeah, if I can put it all together in, July? Yeah, I'm hoping for something pretty special.
Well, good luck next weekend at the World Indoors. Everyone's right behind you. That was a great start. Well done.
Thanks, Tamsin.
Well, I'm looking forward to this indoor competition. It's going to be exciting. There was another name that we missed earlier. Unfortunately, Nina Kennedy won't be on that team. Just a couple of niggles, so looking after herself so she can attack the World Championships and hopefully repeat her medal-winning performance from Gold Coast at Birmingham. You can just see how cool it is out there. The towels are on, the hoodies are on as well. A little tricky between jumps. Looks like the bar's at 178 for the women's high jump competition. Not too far away from the next event on the track.
Sorry, Lynchy. Harrison on the runway here from New South Wales and Coffs Harbour. And just missing there. She has jumped 180. I think she might just be outside that World Junior qualifying height of 181. So trying to attack it tonight. And I think the bar will go 181 next.
So Stolberg up next. It's probably good for Toby to come down, put herself in that kind of competition for the New South Wales champs, where now, unfortunately, Nicola McDermott was going to compete. Unfortunately, through illness, we won't see her tonight or at World Indoors. Nick and Eleanor Patterson is over there dominating indoors.
Just phenomenal what she's being able to achieve indoors there, and getting some vision as well back to Australia. Not often we actually get that from some of the basketball stadiums in Eastern Europe. Stolberg just missing there at 178. Yeah, she's done some wonderful things. I think she was the World Indoor Tour winner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a little bit of cash there too. It's not bad.
She's closing in on that 2 metre height herself. I think she's cleared 199 of recent times. So very, very exciting times to have two ladies in Australia knocking on the door of 2 metres. Well, obviously one over 202. So yeah, really, really good times there for Eleanor and Nicola. So Lynchy, one of the highlights of the night, or at least in terms of the start list, gents are just about to get underway for the 800s. We're just going to throw down to Tamsin.
Yeah, guys, they've come out here and they all look pretty fresh. Pete Bowles just running past, doing a little bit of a run, looks at the camera. I'm really excited about Joe Deng being back. You know, he won the state championships in Victoria and he looked really, really smooth. It's just fabulous having him back. You know, there's a big training squad here with Brad Mathis, Justin Rinaldi trained as well. And Jeff Risley, you know, 4-time Olympian, he's 35 years of age, and he's back out here for another season, which is fabulous to watch as well. This is a pretty incredible field. It's going to be interesting. They've asked for a pace of 51.5 seconds. And Pete Bowles can run fast off that, and he's going to have to because it is a quality field, and maybe we'll see a pretty fast time here.
Meet record is held by a fairly handy athlete, David Rudisha, the world record holder in Kenya, of course, the dual Olympic champion. So 1:44.80 is that time. Of course, Bowl ran 1:44.11 to make the Olympic final. Outside chance, Lynchy?
Well, look, he does own the fastest time in Australia by an Australian, and it is faster than 1:44.80, so it's doable. Whether he does it tonight or not, I don't know. He's obviously had a bit to say about the start list and the lane draw, because he's sitting right out there in lane 8, tucked in behind obviously Yusuf, our pacemaker. So 51.5, I've heard, is what they want to go through, and if he can tack on the back of that, look, I think we might see something exciting.
Very exciting indeed. A little side story to this one. Charlie Jefferson ran 1:47.6 to place third the Adelaide Invitational. The New South Wales Under-20 state record is held by Lachlan Renshaw, 1:47 flat. And Charlie will have another year after this one at that state record. But the way he's going at the moment, that could be a little side story to follow here.
Yeah, no, it could be very, very exciting. And Renshaw is a good name to take off the record books. Obviously, a very talented athlete himself. So the men's 800 metres, not too far away.
So away we go. What will we see from Bowl, Deng and Risley, the Jack Rayner squad here featuring in Sydney Track Classic 800? It looks like a pretty good start there on the outside from Opsy Yusuf. called to go through at 51.5. We'll get the 200 metre split. Also see in the middle there, James Preston from one of our New Zealand athletes, Brad Mathis, just tucking behind the field there as well. The second New Zealand athlete. Bit of a check there from Jeff Risley as the gents go through about 24 seconds.
Yeah, they weren't really sure. I think they were expecting Pete to really be right behind the pacemaker, but he definitely took his time. So it is Bowl out in front, then it's Preston Risley, Lun, Mathis, Kaneko, our Japanese athlete, and then it is back to Jefferson and Dang right at the back of the field. So Yusuf taking them through the first 400 metres. He's going to be pretty close to spot on here. 51.53, mate. He's done the job.
Absolutely perfect from Yusuf, and Bowl right on his heels at the moment. What are we going to see? You can see Brad Mathis just rounding the shoulder there of Jeff Risley, and the New Zealanders just starting to arch up as Yusuf steps on the track. So it's all up to Bowl now. How quick does he want to go tonight? Can the New Zealanders start to make up some ground? Just having a look at Charlie Jefferson as well. Watch him come late in the light blue singlet there. Also working well is Makuto Kaneko of Japan, but it's Peter Bowl 200 to go.
Yeah, the Kiwis are flanking him, but Peter Bowl, we saw this in Adelaide, he was so comfortable down the home straight. So it's Bowl, Preston the New Zealand champion, Mathis, also the New Zealander, Risley, Lund making a move around the outside. 100 metres to go, they're in the home straight. It's Bowl still in the lead, Preston moves wide, he can taste the finish line, but Bowl's way too strong here. 50 metres to go, he's pulling away. Jefferson's making that late charge. He's not going away though. Bowl looks around, he takes the win, and that's going to be a massive personal best for Preston there as well.
Brilliant run by Preston. He kept on coming, didn't he, down the straight? I thought Bowl was going to lose him, but a great run. 146 low there for Preston. He'd be stuck. Really happy with that. 147 flat he came into that race, so big step up for him.
Yeah, there it is. The New Zealand champ. 146, looks like 25 there on the scoreboard, so that's a big PB for him coming straight off. And I'm sure, you know, Mathis is obviously a New Zealander, but he wasn't at the New Zealand champ. So, you know, if I go to New Zealand, I win the champs and I come over and go with a better PB, you know, is that the New Zealand title on the line again? Do you feel like, you know, I'm the New Zealand champ, I have to now show up again? And, well, he definitely did.
Well, he absolutely did. And it's Brad Mathis has been so dominant over there for so long. To have someone come up onto his shoulder and really press him and to get him tonight is it's a big run. Brad Mathis was actually the only person to beat Bowl on Australian soil last year. So that's a huge scalp for Preston.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. You could tell he had a sniff. He came onto the home straight. He's like, I've got something a little bit left. He went out wide, but, you know, Pete does what Pete does.
Oh, he's so dominant, is he? And we'll go down the Thames with Peter now.
Track club, so it's always nice to run with the rest of Australia, but having the whole squad with us is kind of special, and that's the standard we're trying to set, so it's pretty cool.
Now, you're looking at the moment like you're very, very confident in your 800-metre ability. You're just racing to win pretty much, aren't you, out there?
Yeah, I mean, if I learned anything last year, you race for places rather than time, and this year I've already got the time for Worlds and Commonwealth Games, so just get some race practice.
It's a tough one, 800-metre running. You can't rest on your laurels, can you? Because you looked at the world champion, Donovan Brazier. He didn't make his USA team. You have to always be switched on for that win, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the more you can do it, the more comfortable you get, the more consistent, reflects on the medals if you do get some later on at the championships.
And just a quick one, you know, 4th at the Olympics. People are going to want a piece of Pete Bowl now. Are you feeling a little bit of that pressure, or are you able to block it out a little bit?
As long as it's not more than what I run on the track, it's fine. So, yeah, love the crowd. It's what athletics need, so it's great to have that. Adelaide, now Sydney, so they can have as much as they want.
And it's nice having Joe Dang back as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and even nicer when he's running fast. And, you know, last time we raced Sydney was 145, and that's just a competition you have with him, so it's really special.
It's a game of patience, middle distance running. Well done, Pete Bowl. Look forward to seeing what you're going to do for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Hey, look, I want a piece of Pete as well. Look, hopefully there's enough left for the rest of the season so he can go over and perform well in Oregon and in Birmingham. But, look, I'm sure Pete's got enough to give.
I'm sure he does too. He just really did take Australia by storm, didn't he? What an incredible result. 4th at the Olympic Games in the men's 800 metres. It was just a phenomenal time to be watching the Olympics and to be Peter Bol. Should be worth mentioning as well, 146.04. So he's taken over a second off his Adelaide Invitational time, really coming into his season nicely now.
Yeah, and I think that's what's just going to happen with him every time. Hopefully, the next one, Nationals, Queensland Track Classic, hopefully they just keep dropping him. And I'm sure they'll be heading overseas to sort of take a couple of... Well, he was basically a feature in almost all the Diamond Leagues. And he's going to be up the front.
So in the women's pole vault, the bar's currently at 385. That was Gross just missing there. Olivia Gross from Western Australia. She's a 4-metre jumper, so getting towards, not quite the real business end of proceedings, but getting up there in the women's pole vault.
Yeah, the younger sister of Mia Gross, who you'll probably see feature in a couple of our sprints, not tonight, but throughout the season. Now, we did catch up with Georgia Griffiths throughout the week, just for a little bit of a preview for our 800 metres.
Hi, I'm Georgia Griffith. I'm an 800 and 1500 metre runner, and I'm coached by Nick Bedeau. I got into running through really enjoying it in high school and primary school, and it was in year 9 that I joined a squad in Box Hill with my previous coach, Steve Ellinghouse, and just grew from there, and yeah, I'm still doing it. Middle distance running in Australia is absolutely crazy at the moment. It just feels like each year there's a whole nother level that it really steps up to, both the 8 and 15. So many people, new ones, athletes as well coming through, and also, previous runners as well, just who keep improving on their times. Makes it really exciting for Australian athletics. I would love to go into sub 2. I've been on a bit of a PB drought, so I would love to break it this year. The sub 2 would be amazing. I've recently just finished a double degree in business, marketing and design communication, and hoping to work in marketing/brand management, just like Emily in Paris.
Well, look, we were talking earlier, this is the place to go sub 2.
Well, it certainly is. Cap Bissett at Unisport Nationals a couple of years ago. Out of all places to do it, she did it completely solo. And thankfully someone was there taking a photo that day, because I don't think there was much coverage otherwise. But yeah, it is famous here for quick 800 metre running. And we have such good stocks in New South Wales as well, both across the men and the women that regularly race here.
Yeah, so the World Championship qualifying mark, 159.50. The meet record, 159.59, done by none other than Tamsin down track side. Now, our list there, Tess Kissop-Cole, who nearly spoiled the party for Bendiri, her debut, just 1/100th behind her. Claudia Hollingsworth, which we're hearing, if it's good, she could go sub today. Hayley Kitching, Georgia Griffith, Ellie Sanford, Emma Philippe, Sarah Billings, Montana Monk, Laura Roth, Bendiri, Aboya on the outside with Matilda Ryan providing the pace.
Crazy to think that Claudia's still only 16.
Oh, it's
incredible.
It's out of control.
Coached by Craig Mottram,
yes.
So she's got in very, very good hands, probably some of the best hands of Victoria. So Bendiri Aboya goes in the, like we saw with Peter Bol, next to the pacemaker.
So they are away. We'll see who takes this pace out early. I would have thought Georgia Griffith in Adelaide, she copped that really big bump from the pacemaker when she stepped off and still came back to right at the pointy end of the field. But Matilda Ryan there, as they go through the bottles, taking this pace out, and it is only Bendiri Aboya going with her. Kitching and Hollingsworth fighting over that place there, but it's Hollingsworth. She's trying to close this gap, but they've been gapped already.
26 seconds to the first 200. So, my goodness, this is quick stuff here from Bendiri early on. Claudia is just a few steps off at the moment, but looking very composed. Just behind her is, I think, Sarah Billings there from Victoria. But look at this from Bendiri Aboya. She ran quite similarly, actually, in Adelaide, despite the bumping just after the bell. But just starting to lose touch a little bit now with Matilda Ryan, who is about to go through the bell. It's going to be very quick indeed. She was asked for a 58. She goes through a 56.3.
Wow, well, this is the only pace that Aboya can handle. She's a 52.8 runner already this year. We know what she can do elsewhere, but she's the only one that can handle that kind of speed, and we'll see what can be left in her legs as they go around the back straight. So it's still Hollingsworth, then Kearsop, Cole, Griffith, just right at the back there. But as they come around here, down the back straight for the last time, gap's not really changing at all at the moment. 250 metres left to go. Aboya right out in front. Her PB 2:02.88 in Adelaide with 200 metres left to go.
Hollingsworth is staying in close here. So is Kearsop Cole, and they're staying the line up. Hollingsworth is about to go and close that gap down. Now coming around the outside is Georgia Griffith as well, as she is making a good charge and maybe running into a bit of form herself as they're starting to round up Bendiri now. Is it going to be 2 from 2? Maybe looking a little bit unlikely unless she can kick off the rail, which she is now. Bendiri fights back. Griffith is coming. Also, Kearsop Cole on the outside. Claudia Hollingsworth is trying hard. There's going to be 2 for 2 for Bendiri Aboya. And the home track, it's going to be a PB as well. What a brilliant run by Aboya. Absolutely no fear with a quality field behind her. 2:01.93. Brilliant stuff there from the 400 to 800 metre runner convert.
Geez, she had something up her sleeve. I didn't think she was. I thought that was too quick. She killed the field there. They started to come back, but did not expect there was something else there.
She did something similar as well, because they went about 3, 4, 5 wide in Adelaide, but she just found something else to get over Kearsop Cole. A little bit more comfortable tonight over Claudia Hollingsworth, who ran a big season's best, and to be ranked 202 again is fantastic at this time of the season, as we're starting to get some official results through there. 2:01.92 was the official wing time for Bendiri Aboya, so it goes almost a full second quicker in her second ever 800 metre race. Very impressive indeed.
Yeah, look, I think if there's a little bit more even in that, maybe that first lap, she'll have a little bit extra down the home straight. But look, she had a crack. She tested herself tonight. And when you go overseas, you might need to go through in 55, 56, 57. So this is the time to sort of, test the waters and see if you can cope with it. And the next time she does it, it'll be a lot easier.
We'll throw down to Tamsin, who's with Bendiri now.
Well, I'm not quite sure Bendiri's going to be too happy to speak to me. You're pretty lactic, aren't you, after that?
I've never felt lactic. So, I'm so lactic. But, I mean, when I seen the time going to the first lap, I was like, damn, I need to hold on. But it was good to see what I could do. I had to do that. Just know it's my second race, so every race I'll learn. But it's good to know that I could do that, but still a lot of work to do, so at least we know where to go from now.
Just quietly, your coach, Justin Rinaldi, was here when you hit the bell. I mean, you've gone through 200 in about 26 seconds. He was cheering because he wanted you to hit the hurt locker. That was super impressive. That's a fast time. 56 seconds through the bell. How are you feeling down that back straight?
I'm not going to lie, I looked at the TV a lot. I shouldn't do that next time. So I was trying to see where everyone else was. It's kind of hard to run right in the front where you can't see anyone. So I kind of lost myself a little bit there, looking at the TV. But, we learned from that. But I'm happy with that race. And PB!
It is a PB, let's not forget that. It takes years for middle distance runners to get the strength to be able to be full of lactic acid hitting the front straight, hearing athletes get to them, and to be able to compose themselves and relax to take that win. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'll just keep learning from this, but 800s are fun. I'm loving it, especially the bell. So I love it when the bell goes. Yeah, I got nothing else to say.
Well, where's your next 800? Because I think a lot of people are going to be pretty excited to see your next one.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to race and then hopefully go overseas.
Awesome. Well, that was just a fantastic race. You gave everyone a great run there. Brilliant through the first lap. Brilliant home. Well done, Bendiri. Welcome to 800 metre running.
Thank you very much, Tamsin.
I enjoyed that one, Lynchy.
Yeah,
one for the home
I'm looking
hometown
forward
girl.
to a few more races from her. But on the screen there, that is your reigning national champion in the men's 400 metres, Alex Beck, and we caught up with him during the week.
Hi, my name's Alex Beck. I'm a 400 metre runner, coached by Mark Ladbrook. Yeah, the Olympics were unbelievable, and to go over there and run a PB was so special. I worked really hard to get there, and then getting over there to perform my best was unreal. We worked really hard, Mark and I, to get into that sort of shape. But yeah, to execute on the biggest stage, in the world and of my entire career was something really special that I'll look back on forever. Some things you may not know about me: I actually work as a physiotherapist on the Gold Coast. Really lucky that I'm starting to now work with some great athletes, on the Gold Coast. Working with Ella Connolly, one of my squad mates, who's absolutely killing it at the moment. Also, don't mind a little bit of Mario Kart. Claim to be unbeaten. Not that Brandon Stark will agree with that, but don't mind a bit of Mario Kart on tour with the guys, as well as owning the Australian Athletics official Uno rules. So we play on teams a bit of Uno as well, and not bad at that either.
Well, last year he did do the 400-200 double, which hadn't been done for quite some time. He dropped the 45.95 at the end of last year. Unfortunately, just suffering a little bit of injury over those last few months, and came back for the Queensland State Championships, taking the win. Probably not in a time that he would prefer, but he's going to get tested tonight by the man on his outside, Ian Halpin.
He's in great form. He ran PB at the New South Wales Open Champs here a few weeks ago, and 46.2 I think it was for Ian. And just talking to his coach Mike Hurst down below, he's in some very good form over the short distances as well. That would have been a quick chat too, wouldn't it, with Hursty? I'm sure. I got bailed up by Hursty earlier as well. Good to see him next to each other, 5 and 6 there.
No, it actually probably suits Alex to see there, but the field: Jordan Sarmento, Liam Webb, Nick Donaldson, Alex Beck, Ian Halpin, Connor Fry, Callum Rorison, and Matthew Crowe. We'll see just what these conditions are like. Though it was probably raining just a little bit, the conditions at the New South Wales State Champs for 400 metres looked fantastic. I don't know if it was just it looked good, or was it Solomon just dropping bombs? I don't know. I couldn't tell. Maybe it was had rose-coloured glasses. It was just too good.
It was certainly a bit of both, I think. Conditions were very good. We got barely any winds, I think, for most of the ones and twos. So, yeah, there were some good conditions. And Solomon just dropping 45.2 in a heat and pushing towards the line was very special to see. And Halpin was actually in a different heat where he ran his PB. I think he went a little bit quicker in the final. But, yeah, it was all about Steve Solomon this time. Hopefully it can be all about Ian Halpin on his home track this time.
Yeah, well, he'd taken a few New South Wales titles in a row before, and he's showcasing it here today in the Sydney Track Classic. The meet record, 44.86. Not sure if that'll get touched today. It is quite handy. The world champ qualified 44.90 is out of control.
It's very quick, particularly when Solomon actually ran slower than that for a PB at the Olympic Games. It's a tough qualifier.
Like, you could make a semi-final at the Olympics by running slower than the time that it takes to get there.
So here we go. Halpin off to a pretty good start there, but Beck trying to go with him at the moment, but really leaving behind just on the inside there, Nick Donaldson from the ACT. So it might be a race of 2 and 5 and 6 here. Try and go with them at the moment. The outside lane's Callum Rorison of Queensland. Matt Crowe, the 4-hurdler, off to a pretty decent start, but Alex Beck now starting to come up onto the shoulder of Halpin and looking good with 2 to go.
Yeah, this is a different race to what he ran at the Queensland Champs. Alex Beck, 45.54, an equal Queensland record at Tokyo, and he's tearing through this. This is where he's won all his national titles here. He's breathing hard. He's gone fast through 300. Halpin's going to try and close the gap. What has he got left? Halpin's making some moves. Beck's trying to hold on. Rorison's closing hard on the outside. Beck with 20 metres left to go. Alex Beck's going to hold on here, and it's pretty quick. 46.25. It's a much better run there from Alex Beck, and I think that might have actually shocked Halpin a little bit to have someone up on his shoulder so quickly.
Absolutely. Halpin certainly didn't feel that at the Open Champ, so good to have the matchup here at the Sydney Track Classic. Beck was brilliant in that the third 100 off the second bend. Halpin did start to make up a little bit of ground, but Beck just too strong, and yeah, I think it was a well-executed race as well.
Yeah, you know, when you've got that inside lane, you can steal a few metres off them without them knowing it. He literally stole maybe 2 to 3 metres in that first 100, and then what can you do? You've only got, they say you've only got 2 moves in a 400, the start and one other one here, and Alex's start was better and he just had it and held on. I think we got a pretty good finish there from Callum Morrison. Might have just dipped under the 47-second barrier for the first time there.
And he's a 47.33 runner coming into the race, so that'd be a big barrier if he did get it.
That was a big PB when he dropped that 47.3 as well. So he is finding some beautiful form there. It is 46.92. Nick Donaldson, who's gone under 47 for the first time this year, finishes there 47.00 on the dot for him. And look, I think Alex will be happy with that. It's not what he wants, but it's closer. And I think every single race, he's already dropped half a second in a week. So I think by Nationals, he's not going to drop it every single time, but, you know, looks like he's having a seat down there, and he's Tamsin, maybe you can have a seat as well, but she's down there with Alex Beck.
No, Alex said he's going to stand up, but let's see if he can. Can you get up, Alex? You okay? You poor thing. 400s are pretty tough, aren't they?
Oh, they don't get easier, Tam, seriously. You get faster, but the pain's still as bad, and it just gets longer and longer, but oh, how good.
Well, when you win the race, they bring water for you. You know, you've been on the podium of a national championship 400 metres since 2012. That's pretty impressive. So you're right, they don't get easier because you get faster. Last year at the Olympics, you PB'd in the heat. It was pretty impressive.
Thank you so much. It's been a journey, and to get to Tokyo was unbelievable in itself. I was in and out and just got in, so took the opportunity with both hands and, yeah, ran really fast, and hopefully we can go better.
I love that. I love that. Like a good bottle of wine, getting better with age. Talk to us about that race. You know, you made your intentions pretty clear as soon as that gun went. You were really fast out.
Yeah, I opened last week and really poorly executed that aspect. So came here with a mission and a plan, and, yeah, executed really nicely. Coach is happy, so, yeah, it's always a good sign.
You're coached by Mark Ladbrook, who's an Olympian as well in the 400 metres. He did look pretty happy with that.
Yeah, we sort of hoped for about 46.20, so, you know, weren't too far off, and most importantly was the execution was there, so the time will sort itself out. Just got to run well.
Okay, so goals for this season, you've got the World Champs and Commonwealth Games.
Would love to make both. In a really strong position for Worlds at the moment. Just got to hold my position for Olympics. Come Games, you know, just run fast and hopefully it'll work out for itself.
Love it. Be greedy. Be greedy. Go to both. Well done, Alex. Fabulous run.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, greedy. Why not? Go for both. Because obviously he would have been really devastated being a Gold Coast boy, missing out on his home comp games. You know, he made Glasgow 4 years before that. But look, it must be good to know that this is the kind of level he's at, and he's a fine wine. He's getting better with age.
He certainly is. 30 years old now. It's hard to believe. He's had such a fantastic career. As far as we're getting away from one of the other superstars in this meet, Matt Dani, we're going to see the men's discus pretty shortly. Like you said, Lynchy, 46.2, maybe the time that he wanted, but executed really well.
Yeah, exactly. And look, another Queenslander, Matt Dani, we caught up with him during the week before he makes his season debut.
Hi, my name is Matty Denny. I am a discus thrower and my coach is Ben Thompson. I think that, you know, being Australian comes with a lot of weight with sporting performances and respect for sportsmen and women, and, you know, and their achievements and what that means to the country, because of the fact that, like, we're a sporting nation. We really, really take pride in having sport in our culture. So when you do get to that level of making the Olympic team or World Championship team, you know that you're part of, like, a long history of very competitive people, and we're a very competitive nation when it comes to trying to make teams and you know, a high standard in what we have reason for saying is a good performance. So, you know, if you're making teams and you have that culture behind you, like, you will perform well and you will get to a good level. So I think that's probably it. Like, I love the support of being Australian and how that plays out. I'm trying to make discus cool. Like, I mean, I understand. Like, here's the thing though, as an athlete, like, everyone thinks that their event's the most important and, like, you know, come watch me and yada yada. Like, I understand that discus is in the blue ribbon sprinting event and whatever. So I guess giving a bit of a different light and kind of, I don't know, I don't want to be remembered as an athlete that kind of just did the same. Like, it's a professional sport and it's a competitive sport, but it's also about entertainment. Like, it's giving entertainment to the crowd and people who are watching at home and stuff. So I try to make discus as cool as possible, but I think it's just you got to have a different way of thinking and just have fun with it. Like I'm serious when I compete, but I also I relax in those moments when I'm not.
Well, let's see if you can put on a show for us today. And there's your start list for that men's discus. Alec Diamond, Jackson Mellor, Bryce Nolan, Dan Golubovic, who we just saw in the hurdles earlier, Darcy Miller and Matthew Dani. Now, this is another of our combo events. So those 3 athletes who were born after year 2000, they'll be throwing the 1.75 kilo discus to try and secure that World Under 20 qualifier for them. And then Matt, Alec and Dan, they'll be throwing the 2 kilo plate.
Yeah, and one of them actually has the qualifier. Darcy Miller from South Australia recently got that qualified with 58.66, so certainly one of those 3 in very good form. Bryce has been throwing well here in New South Wales too. And Liz Clay looks like she's backing up there as Matt Dean's about to head over to the circle shortly.
We shouldn't be too far away from the start of this. It is a combined men's and women's discus. That's what I've got down here. I don't really see any of the girls out there though.
Or might just be the gents, I think.
So here's Dan Golubovic. He'll be happy with his personal best in the hurdles. Only 2 events today, so it's a light day for Dan. Good day 2 practice though. Hurdles into the discus. He'll be looking to get something out of the 50-metre mark for him. Matt already has that qualifier for the World Under 20. Sorry, World Under 20, the World Champs and the Commonwealth Games. Well, I know we think of Matt as a discus thrower, but his silver medal was in the hammer throw, and he was only 4th. And I'm sure it would have been a very disappointing 4th in that discus. So he'll be looking to try and jump up. But the Jamaicans are massive performers in the Commonwealth. So I'm sure he's gone up a level, Matt, since Tokyo. So he'll be sure to try and repeat the likes of Ben Harradine and push for that Australian record and hopefully grab some silverware or some goldware at least.
Absolutely. He holds the meet record for this event, 64.23, so certainly looking to go past that tonight. And as you mentioned, Lynchy, he has that World Championships qualifier of 66 metres. I believe that all the results from the Tokyo Olympics were actually in the window. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, it was just before. I think it was June 27 that the window started. So, yeah, look, locked away. So this is actually his first competition since that final. He's done this plenty of times out of Cusack. This time it's real. Oh, geez.
That's a good start.
All right, well. Sounds like he's just time hopped from Tokyo back here. Wow.
Yeah, so that first line, just coming over the PA there, that's actually his own meet record, that yellow line. So you can see how close he got to it on the replay here. Mere centimetres away, isn't it? So off to a great start, around about that 64-metre mark.
Yeah, so the white line, yep, 64.23. Sorry, the yellow line, the white line, so 63.76. The white line is 65 metres and the red line is 66 metres. It's all tightly packed out there.
You're absolutely right. The women are out there. My apologies for that. So we also have 6 ladies going in this event. First of them are just about to come into the circle now. So Samantha Peace of New South Wales will be the first of our female throwers.
Yeah, we took a little bit of time off. Sam Peace, bronze medalist from back in 2015 World Youth in Cali. So we know what they can do. She's a winner. Ashlyn Blackstock, Sally Shokri, Marley Raikwasa, Taryn Golshevsky, and the British athlete Jade Lally. for those who are hoping to tune into the women's 100 metres, you haven't missed it. There was a few technical issues, so they are going into their blocks now. Hopefully we're good to go.
So there's Stoilova in one as the ladies are just going to do some block starts now after that short delay. So a fantastic field here, though. Ella Connolly has been all the talk at the moment in Queensland. A pair of 11.25s as she is knocking on the door of something very, very special. She's gone 22.9 and also 52.2 over the 200 and the 400. Probably the most well-rounded sprinter currently in the country.
Oh, easily. No, I don't think there's anyone who's done all three right now anyway. So
yeah.
I think she dropped to an 11.25 and the 52.2 in the same day.
Wow.
Which is, it's up
That's
there.
Phenomenal. So there she is on the screen, and we know about the lady next to her as well, Riley Day, who ran that brilliant PB in the semi-final of the Tokyo Olympic Games. 200 is the pet event, as we'll go through the start list. Alexandra Stoilova, one of the best juniors in New South Wales. She goes in lane 1. Christy Edwards of Queensland in 2. Bree Masters of Queensland in 3. Ella Connolly in 4. Riley Day in 5. Celeste Mucci backing up for Victoria in 6. Jacinta Beecher of Queensland in 7. And Monique Quirk will go for New South Wales in 8. And over the page, also backing up there is Liz Clay. So we've got the hurdlers, Clay and Mucci.
Yeah.
See how they go.
And look, to be honest, you could say Monique Quirk, Queensland as well. She has moved up to train with the same squad as Ella Connolly and Alex Beck. Just still keeping her New South Wales membership. So it's a pretty solid Queensland field right there.
Oh, I assume this wouldn't be too much different to your state championship final.
Just a shield meet.
Sally Pearson shield?
Why not? They all show up for Sally.
It's a great field. I'm really looking forward to this one. There's the national record, 11.11. Mel Breen holds that. I don't know how much longer that has. Might be on borrowed time. Well, maybe not tonight, but I don't think it's too far away.
No, and it honestly, it hasn't gotten colder, which I'm pretty pumped about. Sitting way up the back here of Bay 11. The wind, very, very still as well. So it was a bit gusty before, but I think that bodes well for our 3,000 metres championships later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first of them, the women's, will be after this race. So, yeah, as you said, literally very, very still conditions. Ella Connolly, I think the 11.25 you mentioned, that was into a slight headwind. So she's just super impressive. I'm just blown away with what's going on in your state at the moment. It's quite incredible.
They've turned up. It's the sprinting capital. Get on up. I missed out. There was a lot of jealous sprinters looking at the Queensland Championships results. Mate, you could have come. Fair enough. We were decimated by floods the week leading in, so I'd understand if you stayed away. It was quite risky. But here we go, the women's 100 metres.
Connolly gets a brilliant start, leaves Day behind momentarily. Day's trying to come back with her, going well on the outside there. Celeste Mucci, and also on her inside, Bree Masters, but it's going to be Ella Connolly, and a flying V is going to take it 11.39. So a very solid run there by the first of many Queenslanders in that field. Bree Masters had a good run there. Her season's best 11.36. She'll go close to that. And Riley Day not too far behind, but just another W there for Connolly as she rolls on through her season.
Yeah, dominant. She's just so powerful out of the blocks. Very similar to how they ran in Adelaide. Basically, if it stays 11.39, it's the same time. Riley just didn't close the same way she did in Adelaide, but another fantastic run for Ella Connolly, and I'm sure. The funny thing is, they've raced each other since, they're the same age, Ella and Riley, they've raced each other since school. So I guess she's going home. We're not going to get an interview from Ella, I think. She's left. She's bailed too quick for Tamsin.
Do you think she'll be happy with that run?
Probably not the time. But I think the win, she'll be happy with the win as we go to Tamsin, who's trying to hunt down Ella. Went straight up the tunnel. I think she was just grabbing the jacket.
Guys, Ella's obviously going off really quickly, and I didn't want to stop her because she's got the 400 metres, and I think it's in less than 40 minutes' time. So it's a really tight turnaround. What I'm loving about Ella at the moment, though, is she's worked really hard with Mark Ladbroke, her coach, to get that body stronger. You know, we've seen her run super fast early in seasons gone by, and then her body's broken down, but she looks super strong. And the way that she ran that 100, she's... You know, we can talk about her in that 100 metres getting close to that Australian record. She is looking supremely fit, but it's going to be a hard turnaround to do the 400 metres. But she looks really switched on to do it. So we'll see how she goes, see how she recovers from that 100 metres. It was a fabulous run, but she'll be out here again in that 400 metres shortly.
Well, yes, silly me, of course. You know, that makes perfect sense. It's in 27 minutes. Hopefully they don't make her go through call room again, because that will take 15 to 20 minutes. So really, she's got 12. No, look, I think if they ask nicely, they'll let them come straight back out.
I'd imagine so.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
Look,
our New South Wales officials.
Don't you know who I am? No, she wouldn't say that. But
they're pretty nice down here, Lynchy.
Yeah, look, they'll
New
be
South
fine.
Wales officials. Bryce Nolan in the circle here for New South Wales, one of our under-20 juniors, throwing the 1.75 kilo discus. He's thrown quite well recently at the junior championships, up over the 50-metre mark. Looking to go beyond that white sector mark here tonight as well. And right on the tape there for Bryce Nolan. Around about the 49.90 mark, I'd imagine. And saw a pretty famous Westfield Sports athlete having a bit of a chat with you a little earlier on, Dani Stevens.
Oh, Westfield Sports High. They were scared any time I had to line up with someone from Westfield Sports High.
They're still going pretty well.
Yeah, they are.
We saw Soil over in that previous race. She's certainly one of the better athletes going around in terms of the sprints. So this is the Women's National Championship. So this is the first of our 2 national championships for tonight, the Women's 3000. Really interesting field, this one. No Izzy Bat-Doyle on the start list, but we do have Rose Davies, who has had a couple of very nice runs over the 5,000 metres recently.
It'd be interesting to see how Rose backs up after the Box Hill burn. I think, you know, not easy running out at Box Hill on only a few days ago, but she was the silver medalist at the last year's champs. Mel Duncan out there as well. She was the bronze medalist. We are missing Jen Gregson, who you would have seen in the pre-show earlier, pregnant, so not out there rolling around, understandably. But Jenny Blundell straight to the front. And it was at this race last year she won the 5,000 metre championships. And we know that she's a winner. She's capable of some big runs. Me and you were at Newcastle, very windy day. She rolled out an 8.56. It was a mixed race, but she beat everyone anyway. So I don't know, that should count. I think so. Might call up Zebco, put her on a profile. But look, I think she'll be something very special. But Paige Campbell, you know, we've seen her a lot throughout the season, going straight to the front and hopefully string this field out.
Doesn't look too quick early on, does it? Paige just having a little look around to see who wants to come with her. They went through the first 200 metres in 38 seconds, so nothing crazy at this stage. And Jen's just now settling back onto the rail. Up there as well is Amy Bunnage of Victoria, who ran very nicely at that Box Hill burn as well. I think she split about 9.07 through 3K in that 5,000 metre race. So she's in very good form coming into this one too.
Yeah, won the Ondieki Zatopek race, the 3,000 metres, the under-20 race, and she was part of the under-20 team last year. As you can see in the bottom side of your corner, Matt Denny. Can he surpass his first round attempt and break his own meet record? Oh, that one come out a little bit flat. He'll probably toe tap. There he goes, straight out the front of the circle. So this is a national championship. Brielle Urbacher, though, the steeplechaser, she's sick of the slow pace. And she's taken it out a little bit more. It's getting a bit congested in the middle there, so it's Brielle Urbacher, a 9.40 steeplechaser, so quite handy herself.
Rose just popping out there too. She's gone about 4 wide to make sure she's not in any danger there. Just gets up into the shoulder of Paige Campbell. So it can get a little bit dangerous. We saw that a lot of this in our New South Wales 1500 metre open final with the ladies. It was about 5 or 6 mishaps in the first 2 laps. So they won't want to have any issues with people falling over or tripping.
Well, as this is, it's a national championship, so we don't often see the girls go this slow. You can see there's another big move around the outside. It's like Brooke Williams, I think. She's sick of the pace as well, and it's very choppy.
No one wants to take it, do they?
No, and the girls don't normally do this. They do seem to string themselves out a little bit. It's the boys that are like, oh, I've got the best kick, and they'll just sit in the same pack and push each other around. But we've got athletes all the way on the outside of lane 2, just really crawling around. So we've got Tamsin down trackside. Tamsin, what is it like down there for you?
Yeah, Lynchy, it's actually quite dangerous. They're really bunched up. You can get a real appreciation from it as they come through here with 5 laps to go. Rose Davies is right there in the middle of the pack, and she really got herself out because she knew that she was stuck in there. And it's that kind of race where the pace is quite surgy. And if you are in the middle of the pack like Rose was, then you've got to be careful that you don't fall over. You can see that Jenny Blundell and Rose were probably not in the position that they would have liked to be in, but it looks like after the 5,000 metres that Rose would have in her legs, she's really interested in trying to just probably get the win here tonight. But Amy Bunnage, what a star she is. She's running really well out there, and she's a smooth runner. Really liked what she did at the Zatopek. She's got a big future, and she's not afraid to take it to these senior athletes, but they look like they're starting to pick it up a little bit, so they've stretched out here, and it'll just be now about trying to make sure that you're right there when that move comes, because you don't want to be left behind when that move does come. But you can see Rose moving around the outside and just getting herself up to that position to strike.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushing there. That was actually Carafine Ryan, the winner of the steeplechase out at Adelaide, making that big move around the outside. Rose, Mel and Jenny, they're all really clipping their heels because, 3:15 through that first K is not quick at all.
And it's just gone through another 75 there, so still no real injection. Amy Bunnage doing the work out the front, and they're pretty much, well, they are also in contention in this one. Rose now just shifting past the shoulder of Holly Campbell there, that is sitting in 4th now, and she moves past Brielle Urbacher as we'll go back down to Tamsin.
They are now really starting to stretch out here, so Bunnage still holds the lead. They've left the junior to do all the work. It's actually Natalie Rule that's up there in a very good position there, hip number 5. I don't know if we'll see anything under 9. They really have to throw it down for these last laps. So it's Davies now taking the lead here. Bunnage, Campbell, then it's Rule, Urbacher and Campbell again as they come around. We'll go back down to Tamsin.
Yeah, they're coming into that front straight with 3 laps to go. Rose really wanted to get out of that danger. It's been so physical. It'll be interesting to hear from them after the race because Rose and Jenny have had quite a few contacts. But 3 laps to go is a long way to make that sprint for home, but they have to because the pace was so slow. They're going to have to stretch it out. And Rose doesn't want it to be that sprint finish. When she has had the 5,000 in her legs, she probably wants to make sure she gets a bit of a gap before that last 200-metre final sprint.
Well, the way that Rose has won both of her Zatopek tiles is the grind with the kick at the end. That's how she's beat Bat Doyle. So she's been in this position before. Holly Campbell is right on her shoulder as well, and Campbell has recently run a 1,500-metre PB of 4:13. So watch for her kick late if she's anywhere near Rose.
Yeah, so that was about a 3:02 there for that one. So they've definitely dropped it down a little bit. And we've still got quite a large group of athletes in this front pack. They've dropped the rest of the field. So this is our leading group: Davies, Campbell, Bunnage. Then it's Rule, Urbacher, Campbell again, Fane Ryan. And there's probably just a small gap from Fane Ryan. There's Mel Duncan in there. Jenny Blundell's also in there as well as Emily Ryan. But Holly Campbell looking very good in second place. Rose Davey, 800 metres left to go here for the Australian 3,000 metre championships.
Campbell is going with Davies, and this is a little bit of a surprise. Nat Rule's been very good over the roads recently as well. Very quick over the 10K, so she's in very good form. And Paige Campbell, the Campbell sisters, we saw this in the New South Wales 1,500 metre final, and how good is this? The Campbell sisters in the top 4 in the National 3K final in her home track. And now there is a bit of a breakaway of 5 forming with Brielle Urbacher just getting on the back of this pack here.
Yeah, they've left Fane Ryan. She's sort of stuck in the middle there with no one around her. Blundell's making that move past Bunnage to try and close that gap. But these 600 metres left to go for these 5 athletes, Davies, Campbell, and then it's Rule and Urbacher coming around this home straight for the penultimate time. No major moves yet at the moment. We'll see how much of an effect that 5,000 metres only a few days ago had on Davies' legs. We'll see if it comes down to a sprint finish. So it's Davies, Campbell, Holly and Page. Then it's Rule splitting them, and then Urbacher still on the back of the pack. They're going to have the bell lap. Blundell's trying to close it, but it might be too much.
Yeah, I think it is. They are extending away from Blundell. They take the bell in 8 flat, and Rose now just starting to wind it up with the Campbell sisters in tow. Nat Rule and Brielle Urbacher right there still. But Rose has won so many races recently from this position, and from 300 out, she has been unbeatable. Paige Campbell is trying hard. Holly Campbell there now, just starting to break away from Brielle Urbacher. It might be a race of 4, and that Rule now just splits the Campbell sisters, moves into the silver medal position. Holly Campbell just trying to go with her on the inside rail as well. Paige Campbell is having a storming run herself, dropping down distance. Urbacher's just a couple of steps off, but Rose Davies with 170 to go with Nat Rule is starting to break away now, and it does look like it's going to be the New South Wales Victoria battle. We might have thought we would have seen Campbell. Holly Campbell is trying to secure that bronze over her sister, but Nat Rule now just passes Rose Davies' shoulder. Rose is starting to respond on the inside. Nat Rule is trying hard, but Rose is coming. Can she get another win on her home track? Rule is still coming, but Rose will do it. She will win the national 3K title. She will do the 3K, 10K double. A brilliant effort there by Nat Rule to topple Rose, but she takes the win, and what a brilliant bronze medal there for Holly Campbell as well. That's a huge, huge race for Holly.
Jeez, they just dropped the speed. 3:15, 3:02, and then I reckon it was about a 2:50 last K.
It certainly wound it up.
It was a long run to home as well.
I mean, Rose would have been comfortable, I think, with 200 to go until Nat Rule said, well, you're not going to have it all your way this time. No. And she really did challenge her late in that one.
Well, it's a national championship. So this national championship, it goes towards, on the points, to the 5,000 metres. So, you know, it's obviously where Rose wants to place herself. It'll help her hopefully qualify for Oregon. And that's a second national title for her this season. After winning Zatopek, you go straight to the discus. Dan Galubovic, a decathlon. He's currently ranked 18th on the road to Oregon. Just falling 16 points short, or 14 points short of the qualifier of 8.350. Now after this, he'll be heading into unknown territory by getting 6 attempts. So obviously he's used to, you know, getting, this is now, that's the decath over, he goes on to the next event, but with 6, you know, might either a little bit of fatigue or might find something extra.
Well, as you mentioned before, Lynchy, he's got a light session tonight of just the 2 events, so hopefully he's got a little bit more in the arms as we'll go down to Tamsons with Rose Davies.
Rose, you've had a really big program this week, the 5,000 in Box Hill, and then you've come up here for the 3,000. Are you pretty tired now?
Yeah, my legs are a bit tired. I think I was a bit tired after Box Hill, but, you know, I try to block that out and just get ready for this. I think this was more important than the Box Hill, so, yeah, I'm glad I got to get the win here.
Well, it's a fabulous run in Box Hill, and, you know, it's a national championship. You know, you've got the gold medal, which is obviously what the goal was, but it was a really physical race early. Like, you got clipped quite a few times, didn't you?
Yeah, it was so much pushing and shoving. I think I wasted so much energy just trying to, you know, hold my place, and I guess I'm not used to that type of racing. Like, every race I do is usually, you know, a consistent pace, and we're out there for a lot more laps, so we can sort of settle. So, yeah, it was different, but, yeah, I held my nerves, so... yeah, I'm happy.
Had you spoken to your coach, Scott, about if the pace was slow when you were going to go? Because you did a really long run for home, which would have been quite tough, I could imagine, with the running of the 5,000 in your legs.
Yeah, well, I knew if I wanted to beat some of the girls here, I had to go from a long way out. Like, I know Jenny has such a good kick, Nat. So, yeah, my plan was to go from a long way out, which is a lot different for me. I've been kicking the last lap most races, so... yeah, I'm glad that I could show myself that I can do it. Like, I think it's a good, you know, thing to have. You can't just rely on one move. So, yeah.
Well, well done. It's another national title, so well done, Rose.
Thank you. Thanks.
Just racking up national titles, just like Matt Dani. That's a much better throw. Oh, he's tossed it out over there. When you have to move the 65-metre tape to measure it, let's just give him 65. I'm sure it's right on it. Kick that tape out of the way.
So the 64.23 meet record may be no longer after that attempt.
Oh, I think so.
There it is.
Yeah. That was much better. Probably not happy with the angle that it came out. I know Matt loves talking about wind and stuff, and it's been a bit of an easterly, which means for us it's coming across the track. So it would be coming from his right-hand shoulder to his left, and being a right-arm thrower, it's not going to give that as much lift as throwing into the wind. So to be doing that, you know, in an open-air stadium like this, I think... 64.09.
Yeah, so we must have maybe just been a little bit off with where that sector tape is, maybe.
I think they've got the tape in the wrong spot then. They're a metre short of the tape.
There's
Talk to the tech. Is it Rob Blackadder that put it out there?
Oh, I can't start throwing tech managers under the bus. I have to work with them every weekend.
They moved the tape and, you know, recount. Give me a remeasure.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out what the tapes are actually representing now. If that yellow tape, or the white tape at least, wasn't the meet record. Anyway, at the women's pole vault, the bar is at 4.25. We just saw missing there was Jamie Scroop of South Australia. I think this is Courtney Smollicombe of South Australia now as well. So certainly now at the business end of things in the women's pole vault competition.
Yeah, Courtney Smollicombe now ready to roll. I had to, after the Queensland Track Classic last year, I had to carry her poles and Wilson Cram's poles to the airport on my Subaru hatch.
Oh,
it's quite sketchy.
Very safe.
I let them put them on, but no good there. We'll come back for her third attempt. But yeah, I honestly, driving down the freeway, I could just feel my roof. Well, not feel it. I could hear my roof just going down and up and down and up. And scary. Quite scary. I was very happy for them to take them off when I got to the airport.
Glad you didn't get pulled over in the...
Well, you know, I thought it was probably better than strapping it to the roof of an Uber. So I actually put them in the Uber and I put the poles on my car and I drove to the airport. Thought that was a bit fair. I don't know how the Uber driver would have handled it.
The joys of athlete transfers.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So the hurdles have been set up on the track for the next event, women's 4 hurdles. Fortunately, a couple of scratchings from this race. We don't have Sarah Carley with us, unfortunately.
Yes. Missing Sarah Klein as well, unfortunately. But we do have the recently crowned New Zealand champion and record holder, Portia Bing, out here. 55.44 at the New Zealand champs. Getting very, very close to that 55.40 Oregon qualifier. The meet record could be in danger as well. Lauren Bowden, 55.45, done in 2012. And we do have Tamsin down, mixing up with the high jumpers, Tamsin.
I am. I'm down with the high jumpers. This is a really good spot to get an appreciation of how the field events work, because we've got the discus over my left shoulder happening, where Maddie Dani's throwing so well, and over my right shoulder we have the high jumpers. Now the bar is currently at 216, and so we've got some athletes in this field that will be looking to push it up to 230. Joel Baden has been jumping really well. He's jumped a 230 on this track before, and he's in super shape. He's done a 227 so far this season. But this is why track and field is just so exciting, because there's always so much action happening at the same time. And as we're watching the field events happen, the women's 400-metre hurdlers are doing their warm-ups as well. So there's a lot going on at the moment. There's a lot of excitement, and I cannot wait to see this 400-metre hurdles women's race, because it could be super fast.
Southern end of the ground. It's where it's all happening.
It is. It actually is probably one of the best spots to watch high jump. That section there on the grass, it gets full. You know, it's probably a little bit cool, but, you know, in a nice summer's afternoon, it's fantastic to watch high jump. And we've seen some big jumps here, obviously, like you mentioned before, Nicola's barrier-breaking 2-metre attempt over there. So this is the start list for our women's 400-metre hurdles. Susie Douglas in 2, Genevieve Cowie in 3, Isabella Guthrie in 4, Portia Bing in 5, Akiko Ito from Japan in 6, Brody Mate in 7, and Susie Sadarides in lane 8.
And from a New South Wales standpoint, Isabella Guthrie and Jen Cowie should have a really good battle. Both of these girls in the 58 mid sort of range so far this season. Guthrie's gone way under that World Under 20 qualifier, I think, in 61 seconds. So she's just going gangbusters at the moment. And Jen Cowie is coming into some nice form as well. But I think Portia being certainly an athlete to beat here. And the meet record held by Lauren Bowden, 55.45, might be in danger here.
Yeah, well, she's going to have to beat it to get to the World Champs. And the way that she's been dropping her times, I think it's something doable. This is where she's won a few track classics and out here. I think 19, I think it might have been. She dropped like a 56.0, took it out. Then the same nationals went sub 56 for the first time. So this is a place that she's run fast. Hopefully she's carried that form across the Tasman and she's ready to roll. And it might be exciting for Guthrie to follow her around on the inside, to have someone of that calibre just on the outside of her. Obviously, you know, Isabella's raced against Sarah Carley, so we know what she can do. Polvot there on their 3rd attempt at 4:25, it looks like. I'll actually see Isabella's twin sister, Jasmine, in the 400 next race.
Yeah, they've been going very well, both of them over the flat and the hurdles. They're certainly the standouts in the junior ranks in New South Wales at the moment, the Guthrie twins.
Yeah, well, they both won their national titles in these events last year as an under-20, so they're ready to hopefully do it again in this time and then secure their spot to Cali, Colombia, for the World Under-20 Champs. They both have qualifiers in.
Quite exciting. I think it was Isabella who, could be wrong on this one. It was certainly one of them. She ran 55.21, and then after third finisher at the race, it went down to 55.19. So she missed it, and then she got it in the same
nice.
race.
That is a good drop down.
So away we go on the women's 4 hurdles. Eyes on the middle of the lanes here of Portia Bing. Off to a pretty good start there. Already passed Akiko Ito on her outside and Brody Mate out of the Wollongong ranks, and she's going very nicely at the moment. On the inside as well, Isabella Guthrie from New South Wales having an excellent run. So Portia Bing does lead the race. Guthrie, as you mentioned, Lynchy, getting a really nice cider of her as they go into the 3rd 100 now. Working hard is our Japanese athlete, who just sits a step behind Guthrie at the moment as they come to the critical stages of the race now. Portia Bing looking super strong though as she comes into the final straight.
Here we go, 9 and 10 to go. Portia Bing, the New Zealand champ, the New Zealand record holder, 55.40. What can she do? Guthrie and Ito battling it out. But she's off the last hurdle. She's flying to the line. Let's set the clock. This is a fantastic run. Oh, 55.55.
Oh, what a run that was. A 10th outside Bowden's meet record. She was so dominant in the last, probably 150 of that race. I think she knows it as well. So close to her PB of 55.44. So 10th outside her PB, a 10th outside the meet record, but a brilliant run there by Portia Bing.
Yeah, look, I think she just needs, and I'm looking forward to battle. Sarah Carley, Portia Bing at Nationals. Hopefully if Sarah can make it back out there, I think we're going to see both of them go sub 55 and push themselves across, but that was it. dominant performance there from the New Zealand champion.
Isabella Guthrie as well. Good run by her, 58.72, just outside her PB there. So the junior getting the best of the rest of the Open athletes, or at least the Australian Open athletes in that one.
Yeah, it's as this is a bronze meet for the Continental Tour for World Athletics, there is a bit of prize money up for grabs, $25,000 across all of these events. I've been trying to hunt down the breakdown, but unfortunately it's eluded me so far. But Portia being 55, 54. Honestly, for a second, I thought she was going to go 54 something. I was watching the clock quite intently. I'm sure she was as well. But good for Guthrie to be interesting. Is Guthrie going to do the 20s and the Opens? I'm sure the program will allow it. They are so far apart. She's so far ahead of the rest of the under 20s. And seeing that, she could be up for a medal in the Opens as well.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be the first time that we've seen one of the New South Wales girls double. It happens quite often in the sprints as well. That's how well they're going at the moment. So, yeah, Guthrie is certainly ticking some boxes in the 4 hurdles.
See who steps into the circle next in this discus competition as the hurdles come off. It'll be the women's 400 metres, the next event on the track.
In second place, representing Victoria with a time of 9:06.68, the national silver medalist.
Yeah, so Alec Diamond there next into the circle for New South Wales, the decathlete.
Well, ask and you shall receive the prize money breakdown for this event. So that 400 metre hurdles was a $1,000 event. So $450 for first, $300 for second, $150 and $100. Oh, it's not bad.
Not bad for less than a minute's work.
Yeah, exactly. So Ella Connolly's about to find herself in 2 of the $1,500 events. So $600 for first place. She's already locked that away. She could be up for another $600. Short work here. I don't see... Oh, no, there she is. She's popped out.
This will be really interesting. Backing up from the one less than half an hour ago, she goes into the 400 metres. But as you mentioned before, on the same day, she's run 11.25 and 52.2. So
it's definitely not an hour to half an hour, though, when she did that. It was a lot more than that.
Not sure what your timetable looked like, so no comment from me.
No, it was definitely not half an hour. So we do have down trackside Tamsin with a special guest.
I couldn't let you go, Marlene. Fabulous to see you here at the track. Are you enjoying the athletics this evening?
I am, Tamsin. I haven't been to an athletics meeting in years.
Has it changed much?
Oh, the performances are better, of course, yes.
I don't know. You were pretty fabulous. You're an Olympic medalist yourself. You know, it's pretty special for the athletes, the 3,000 metre champions, to be presented their medal by you. I'm sure they would have really appreciated having you here.
Oh, I don't know. It's lovely to be here and to still be part of it.
Well, do you watch the athletics? Did you watch Tokyo Olympics? And
of course. Yes, it was great. I thought Tokyo did a fantastic job. I really did. I thought our performances, I thought we were going to have a winner in our men's 100. He ran very well.
Rowan Browning?
Yes. Peter Bowl was fantastic. I think our performances were really good. Considering the build-up they'd had, with COVID and not being able to travel around and things. So I thought they were just wonderful.
Oh, I love it. Marlene, thank you so much for stopping and chatting to us. You're an absolute Australian track and field icon. Lovely to see you here this evening.
It's lovely to see you here too. I don't think you'll ever get athletics out of your life.
It's in my blood too.
Nice. Thank you, Tamsin.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've tried to keep Tamsin away. It's too hard. She'll keep coming back. It's like a boomerang.
There's Darcy Miller. As I mentioned before, he has the World Junior qualifier already, 58.66. He's thrown to get that mark, and I think stepping out of the front of the circle, not too happy with that one. As I think we're now moments away from our next event on the track, the women's 400.
Yeah, I'm actually getting a little bit of stick from my sources. I thought best not to reveal your sources, but the prize money list did come from Mike Barber, husband and coach of Kelsey Lee Barber. So thanks, Mike. There you go. You happy now? Here's our start list. It's a different Paige Campbell there in lane 2, Jess Thornton in 3, Ella Connolly 4, Ellie Beer in 5, Jasmine Guthrie in 6, and Angie Blackburn in lane 7. So again, from the inside, it's Paige Campbell, Jess Thornton, then it's Ella Connolly, Ellie Beer, Jasmine Guthrie, and Ange Blackburn. And it's Ella Connolly straight out. We'll see how much of an effect that 100 metres earlier had on her, but it's not affecting her so far. She's up onto the shoulder of Ellie Beer, our 4x4 runner from Tokyo and Doha, and she's gone straight past her. It's hard to believe that Ellie Beer is still a junior here. Thornton trying to close the gap. Thornton and Beer have had some great battles over the state championships, but they're going to have 150 metres left to go, and it's going to be Ella Connolly. What has she got left in those legs? Beer making a move on the outside. She's having a great battle with Jasmine Guthrie. Thornton probably just sitting just behind them as well, but they come into the home straight. It's Ella Connolly, then it's Thornton, Beer and Guthrie, back to Campbell, and then Blackburn. But this is a dominant performance. 2 wins, 2 victories here at the Sydney Track Classic, the 100 and the 400, and Ella Connolly stops the clock, 52.23. Well, that's a personal best for Ella Connolly.
That was
half
quite
an
special.
hour after she won the 100, and she is cooked.
That is quite special indeed. 52.23, 27 minutes after she walked into the post-event tunnel after the 100 metres. That is phenomenal there from Ella Connolly in the form of her life, and she is absolutely the most well-rounded athlete, sprinter in the country at the moment. I questioned it before. I certainly am not now. That was brilliant.
Oh, it is. It's undeniable. And actually, before her parents are actually here. They've come down here. So I was talking to the parents before, and they were like, I think she went and had a spew after the 100. The 100 was like, what's she going to do after the 4 then? But they've come down, surprising her. And we'll see if she's going to have enough time to recover. And she will, because we're going to go to Tamsin with the winner of our 400 hurdles, Portia Bing.
Ella a little bit more time to recover, because that was a fabulous effort to do the double tonight. But Portia, talk about fabulous efforts. Like, you broke the national record for New Zealand in the New Zealand Championships. You've been running so consistently this season. Another 55-second run. You're getting there, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. Slowly getting there. I think the biggest thing for me today was it was the first time in a long time they've made kind of a bit of a stutter in the first hurdle, and it kind of goes to show now I'm at that point where, okay, I can pull out a 55.5 any day of the week now, which is great, but in order to duck below that automatic qualifier and hopefully into the 54s, it's like about, you know, taking your time, cleaning up the small mistakes. I think I was really happy with the way I ran home, which is something I've been working on the whole domestic season for New Zealand, which we've just finished. And then today was just a little bit different. A few unusual things that I found a little bit hard running under the lights. I know it sounds really bizarre, obviously we don't run under the lights in New Zealand, but also things like the time zone slightly killing me. It's 10 o'clock at night in New Zealand.
That's showing your age a little bit. Surely, shouldn't you be out partying at this time? But no, athletes are very sensible and they stay home early and go to bed. Now, I did watch you to that first hurdle and there was a little stutter. Is that, do you think, because your speed is up? You've run a 400 PB this season. You just looked like you were getting a little bit close, so you had to make that adjustment going into it?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because I'm so close to an automatic now and quite a good position. I've talked to my coach, James Mortimer, about, you know, where do we go next? And the biggest thing I felt when I looked back on my domestic seasons was how conservative I was running. So it almost got to the point where I'm just going through the motions. So today I tried something a little bit different. I think I had a little bit more excitement going into it, thinking, okay, cool, let's start from hurdle 1, not wait 2 hurdles, because normally I go hurdle 1, hurdle 2, then slowly build into the rhythm. And it just goes to show those small changes, the things I need to work on. But again, that's what we're here for, you know, just trial and error.
Well, it's exciting. I mean, your journey's been one of being such a fabulously talented athlete and trying to find that event. You know, 400 hurdles looks to be that event for you. And 2019, you ran fabulously and had that disappointment in Doha with the disqualification. But you've always known that you can mix it with the world's best in this event, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the big thing that I learned from Doha was that I needed to learn hurdle better. And I think it goes to show now I'm running the same time as running in Doha, but every single week I'm doing that. And there's not one part of me that thinks, oh no, I haven't cleared that well enough. Now I'm thinking about attacking the hurdle, moving quicker over the hurdles. So my mindset has shifted a lot, but it's actually taking me, almost I had to go backwards before I could come forward again, and now I'm in that phase of building. I guess it's more exciting because I'm hoping that, the next drop for me is into the 54s. It'd be a good sign for me.
I reckon you're pretty close to that 54 second. It's going to be an exciting season for you. Well done, Portia. That was just a fabulous run. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, an excellent performance there from Portia. It really was clinical and great to know that she now has the confidence of running 55 mid and trying to have a real crack at that sub 55 mark. And as you mentioned, her and Sarah Carl in the Nationals, that could be something pretty fun.
Be a fantastic battle. So she mentioned Doha before. She actually got disqualified for trailing in Doha, and the time actually came up on the board, and I think it was close to that 55 mid, and then obviously gone, DQ doesn't count. So she knows she had it in her, but now it's always on the board, and you can't take that away from her now. It looks like we might actually have Tamsin with Ella Connolly now.
Metres, because I knew you had such a short turnaround for that 400 metres.
Yeah, look, it wasn't my choice to run the 4 tonight, it was Mark's, but he said I need to get stronger, so hopefully it'll help me for the rest of the season.
Well, the 400 metres and the 100 metres, we've asked you a few times about which event you want to focus on. You're pretty close to that Australian record in the 100 metres, but that run then, wow, you looked pretty good through that first 200.
I mean, yeah, it was great to be running 4s again with Ellie and Jess. Back to my old event, but no, I'm definitely enjoying running 1s and 2s at the moment.
So then Nationals, you reckon the 1 and 2 will be where your focus will be?
Yeah, I'm not really sure yet. We haven't discussed that, but yeah, hopefully 1 and 2 and go from there.
So hard to get it out of you. But no, talk about that race. You had to recover. What did you do in between the 100 and 400?
I literally just walked up to the call room, and then it was 10 minutes before we started. So, yeah, that's what I did.
Now, when you're in the blocks, were you just focusing on the game plan? Did you feel a little bit of fatigue from that 100 still?
Yeah, I sort of hit the 200 of the 4, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got another 2 to go. But I just tried to hold on, and yeah, that was sort of my game plan.
And where to from here?
So Melbourne next week for 4x1 relay camp. Hopefully at 1 in the relay at Melbourne as well, and then Nationals, so yeah.
Now, Alex Beck, who won the 400 metres, he's actually your physio, isn't he?
Yeah, physio and training partner, so, I mean, it's awesome, and also a great mate, so it's really good to have him around and in the squad. He's very inspirational to me.
Love it. Well, go rest up because you've earned it tonight. Two first positions. Great run, Ella.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tamsin.
Well, I'll put it out there. You couldn't get it out of her, but she has entered the 1, 2 and 4 at Nationals. So, she has the option to do the treble.
Wouldn't that be something? When was the last time that happened?
Well, has it happened? I don't know. We need to get Jeansy and Darby onto that one if they can deliver us some kind of information. But
yeah, so this is the 100 metre men's race. It was a fabulous race at New South Wales Opens. A lot of these gents returning to the track a few weeks later. Connor Bond, he was brilliant in the juniors. He goes and won. Chris Ewis is starting to find some nice form for New South Wales in 2. Will Roberts, our New South Wales champion, goes in 3. Josh Azzopardi dropped 10-3 to win the Queensland State Champs, goes in 4. Eddie Nikita, 10-19, sees his best in 5. Jack Hale, 10-1-2 man, he goes in 6. Jake Doran of Queensland in 7. Jacob Despard of Tassie in 8. And Ishmael Dudu Kamara of Sierra Leone and New South Wales in 9.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. I think it's probably a little bit cool. This is the kind of conditions where Rowan ran 10.09 at the National Champs last year, and it doesn't look like the wind is, it's not gusting. It's pretty consistent. This is going to be exciting for Connor Bond to be in this kind of field. And, he's right next to Chris Ewis, who is an absolute gun out of the blocks.
He certainly
is. And he's rounding into shape too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he ran second to Azzopardi last week, 10.35. So he's run 10.24. He did that in the Illawong a couple of seasons ago, and they run some fantastic meets down there. So he's looking to get into that 10.2 shape again.
And it's funny for Azzopardi, I think he's run 3 to 4 times this year and he's dropped about half a second every time. He started in Queensland in pretty tough conditions, ran 11 flat. I don't know if he even got a medal here at the New South Wales Champs.
No, he didn't.
Came
he ran
up to
about
Queensland,
10.6.
won the Queensland Champs in 10.30, which would have won the New South Wales Champs. And now he's out here and he's in between the New South Wales Champ and then the guy that won the New South Wales Championships.
It's going to be an awesome race, this one.
Oh, Roberts gets a flyer on the inside. This is going to be interesting. He's got a back top end here. Azzopardi trying to go up there. Eddie Nikita's out there and Dudu Kamara. But it's going to be Eddie Nikita takes a win, 10.32. A blanket over the rest of the field. I couldn't tell you who else was the second, third, fourth or fifth, but
Jack Howell was coming late on his outside. Certainly saw Jack doing well. As a party, I think Ewan did get the best of the starts in lane 2 as we see a bit of a boogie there from Nikita. I like the antics after the race, just fairly reserved. But yeah, no, as a party, got a pretty good start there as well. Hale certainly came late though in the piece.
Yeah, they've given Hale second place at the moment. The wind negative 0.1. And Eddie, fresh off winning the New Zealand Championships, it was going to be a fantastic battle to see him against Tian Felpton, who's been killing it over in New Zealand. Unfortunately, Tian just doing the hamstring, and it's gone Hale in second, Despard in third there, Ismail Kamara in fourth, and it's very, very tight, as you can see here. Hale closed really well towards the end. Probably between Doran and Roberts.
It's a good run by Kamara. He's got a few scalps there. First of the New South Wales athletes.
He came up to the the Queensland Champs and unfortunately had a cramp just before the start, so he could not compete there. But Will Roberts in 5th, Doran in 6th, Azzopardi 7th. Connor Bond getting it up there into 8th, and Chris Yorse in 9th. And we do have Tamsin down trackside with the winner and the New Zealand champion, Eddie.
I am down here with Eddie. Eddie, you're a bit puffed after that 100 metres.
Oh, man. Even though it's 100 metres, it still takes a lot out of me.
Well, you know what? I did swipe on your Instagram page, and it's definitely all coming together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in a couple of weeks, even though I haven't ran my best race, I'm still doing the overspeed, still training, and hopefully when it comes to Brisbane, we'll get there.
Well, the New Zealand standards are pretty tough, aren't they?
Oh, man, I ignore all that and I concentrate on what I can do.
All right, then what can you do at our national championships, you think?
Oh, man, we just have to wait and see.
Were you happy with that race tonight?
Oh, yeah, I was a little bit sick, but the show must go on. But I just control what I could control, and we got there.
And last one, you got that New Zealand title back last week, so it's been a pretty good week for you.
Yeah, it feels good to come back to New Zealand and collect, to retake what claims to me, but it feels good.
Well done, Eddie. Well done on winning that 100 metres.
Thank you, Tamsin.
The show must roll on.
There you go. Look how close that is.
It's what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within 500s.
It's like
6 within 600s.
We have probably some of the best photo finish judges in the world, just in New South Wales. So even there, 56 again. So 6 of the athletes had the exact same times in that race. It's hard to beat Eddie though. He's a showman.
Here is the last race of the night.
Yeah.
This is the 3K National Championship.
Wow. And the show must go on. We are off and racing. No mucking around here. So from the inside is Jack Bruce in 1, Jude Thomas in 2. They were 1-2 last year at the Champs. Andre Ware in 3, Isaac Hayne in 4, Craig Huffer in 5, Archie Noakes in 6, Cam Griffiths in 7, Samuel Clifford in 8, Jared Clifford in 9, Thomas Diamond in 10, Charlie Sprott in 11, Rory Hunter 12, Sam McEntee in 13, Mick Stenupsek in 14, Jai Edwards in 15, Kosei Yamaguchi in 16, Matthew Clark in 17, and our pacemaker Cameron Myers in 18.
So they've asked for 63-second laps, which is about 7:52 pace. That's what we've got on our list. So it'll be interesting to see how close they're hitting those 63-second marks. So Cam Myers doing the early leading there with Mick Stanovic Stanovicek of Victoria, my apologies, just sits there. Rory Hunter and Jai Edwards, the Team Telford duo, they sit 3rd and 4th in the run. Isaac Hayne had a very good run at the Adelaide Invitational 5,000 metres, finished 4th in that race. He currently sits in 5th in the field. So I think they're bang on about 63 seconds through that first 400. Cam Myers from the AC2 doing a good job there. Matty Clark of Team Tempo just nestled in on the rail with Jude Thomas. What a fantastic product he's been out of Queensland. World Junior qualifiers for the 1500, the 3K and the 5K. He's been a phenomenal development from the Sunshine State and came 2nd in this race. Broke Ryan Gregson's under-20 national record. Sat for 12 years when he ran 7:52 last year in this championship race. Jack Bruce came 2nd in the Adelaide Invitational 5K. He just sits on the shoulder of Matt Clark there as all the gents are in contention early in this one. Really interesting to see how Rory Hunter and Jai Edwards come back. There's another 63 seconds there for Cam Myers. Jai Edwards had a phenomenal domestic season in the first half of 2021. Could not lose a race and culminated in him getting over the top of Stuart McSwain and running an Olympic qualifier of 3:33 on this very, very track. So he has had a lot of success here, and can he do something special here tonight? Rory Hunter won bronze in that 1500 metre final to make it a 1-3 for New South Wales, split by McSwain. So be very interesting to see how those guys fare in that race. 2:39.5 for the first K in the men's 3K final. Cam Myers doing a good job on the front. So we caught up with Jai Edwards earlier this week. Let's hear his thoughts.
Hi, my name is Jai Edwards. I'm a 1500 metre runner and my coach is Dick Telford. I learned a lot from my first Olympics, and there's probably not really one singular thing that I can pinpoint, but I think just the experience as a whole and, you know, what it means to be a professional athlete and to be on that world stage, which is pretty much the pinnacle of the sport. That was pretty surreal, and I think that you know, going forward, that's something I can draw on with the experiences and hopefully put into practice better in the future. Modelling for Vogue, yes, that was a very funny one and very much out of my comfort zone. But no, it was great fun. It was, you know, I met some superstars with different sports. It was a bit of a late call up, and I was kind of, I guess, thrown under the bus a little bit, but just try to take it all in the stride. And most definitely, I still don't think it was a great fit for me, but I'd be more than willing to do it in the future, that's for sure.
Well, he looked good in the clothes. So did Bandiria Boyer. I remember having a chat to him before the Olympics about that, and he gave me pretty much the same answer as Myers steps off the track after doing a good job for the first 4.
So yeah, Mick Stanovicek, fresh out of Oregon. He's wearing the OTC singlet there, leading the way. Kind of went to Oregon, which we've seen that plenty of our Aussies do so well. Obviously, 2 of them are over at World Indoors, Jess Hull and Charlie Hunter. But there's Rory Hunter, tucked in his 2nd place. McEntee making a big move around the outside. He was just a smooth criminal in Adelaide down the home straight.
Oh, you see, he looked like a sprinter down the home straight. He was phenomenal.
I wish I finished 400s like that. It was out of control. And he's comfortable right there now. So it's Stanovicek, then it's McEntee, Hunter, Clark, Edwards, Hayne, Bruce, Cam Griffith, Jude Thomas, Thomas Diamond, the winner of the Zatopek De Castella 3,000 metres. And then Craig Huffer just making a move around the outside as well. But I like it, strung out. They've run completely the opposite way that the women ran. So I think they're after something very quick.
Well, there was no pacemaker in the women's race, was there? So
that's true.
They were going to, you know, maybe fall into that rabbit hole a little bit more than the gents, and Cam Myers has done a good job to set up the race for these boys. McAtee had a really good story, actually. I really enjoyed that post-race interview he did with Tamsin about coming back to the sport, and it looks like he's got newfound confidence in his racing ability on the track.
Well, again, we saw Rose come from the Box Hill Burn, and Sam down there as well. So, again, this is a point-scoring event for the 5,000 metres, and, you know, Sam was our Rio Olympian in 2016 in the 5,000, so we know he can get there. Made the London 2017 World Champs as well, so he's a fantastic mover. And he's looking really good at the front of the pack here at the moment.
So Jack Bruce, who sits about 7th in the field, he's the defending champion. He won this event in 7:31 last year from Jude Thomas, and Ryan Gregson, who's not with us here tonight, he came 3rd in the race. So Jack's just sitting fairly comfortably in the pack, but he'll have a little bit of work to go to get around the 8 guys in front of it.
But this is it, though. 500 metres left to go. Isaac Haynes making a move. Thomas, who's just at the back of that pack, broke the Australian under-20 record when he got that silver medal. But 1 lap to go here for the Australian 3,000 metre title. Stanovsek, McEntee, Hunter, Hayne, Clark, Griffith, Edwards and Thomas. They're shoulder to shoulder. There's 8 in this pack here. And Jude Thomas, a big move around the outside. He's trying to upgrade that silver he got last year into gold. Hayne makes a move around the outside, the South Australian. McEntee right out in front. Rory Hunter's still there. Cam Griffith now making a move. They're leapfrogging each other. Jai Edwards not going away either. 200 metres left to go here. McEntee, Thomas, Hunter, Griffith, Hayne, Clark and Edwards. What kind of turn of speed does Jai Edwards have? 150 metres left to go. They come into the home straight. Jude Thomas, he was 2nd last year. He wants the gold medal. He's found his way into the lead, the junior. Cam Griffith on the outside. Hunter, McEntee, Jude Thomas. He's fighting towards the finish line. This could be a magical victory. Can he hold on? Griffith closing hard, and Thomas gets it 7:47.
7:47.
Oh!
Jude Thomas, that's unbelievable.
Wow.
7:47. He goes 4 seconds under his own under 20 3K record. Although I think he's turning 20 this year, so my apologies.
He's turning 20 this year, but that is
that's a
out of control.
Wow.
The first 4 across the line, 5 at the moment, are all under 750.
That's a sensational run. The moves were coming from Cam Griffith, super strong on the outside there. He's coming off a 7:47 himself indoors, so he was certainly in that sort of form, showed it there. But Jude Thomas, what a breakthrough victory for the man who's turning 20, just 20 years old he's turning this year. What a bright future.
Well, his dad's also out here taking photos, Michael, so I want to see where Dad is. That's him just sort of standing next to the number 4 down on the side.
What a
look
moment.
over straight through there, he would just be to the right of your picture.
To be on the track when your son wins a national title, what an unbelievable moment that is.
There he is, straight over the white box. Michael, go see, there we go. There.
Just a sultry handshake.
Son, thought he's just getting dogged. Oh, wow, that is unbelievable. That last, what did they clock for that last 200 metres? That was flying.
So it was certainly something in order of sub 57 for the last 400. I think they went through about 650. So it was a big old close. And Thomas made that move down the back straight. That's really where he set up the win for himself. And he threw down the gauntlet. Cam Griffith with another 10 metres would have got him, but Jude Thomas, that is a coming-of-age victory. Brilliant.
Show's not over, though. Like Eddie said, it must go on. And Matt Dani, his last attempt. And you can see his card there. 64.09 in the 3rd round. He has the meet record of 64.23. Every throw over 60 metres in his first comp since the Tokyo final where he finished 4th. What can he produce on his 6th and final attempt?
Yes!
Oh, I reckon he did it. Oh, it's got to be it.
That has to be it this time. Well, he's a 6th round performer, isn't he? That's where he got that 67.02 in the final round in Tokyo. He's pulled out another big throw here in the final round. Hopefully that tape hasn't moved.
The arms are up. They've read the EDM. Let's see what the official can put on the board. And it must be fantastic for our under-20 athletes. You know, Matt did this. He had this experience. He made world under-20 champs in the discus. Let's give that spin. Come on, guys.
As we've got Tamsin on the track with Jude Thomas while we wait for that result.
Jude, that was just a fantastic run as we hear Matty Denny's pretty happy with his last throw. It's all happening here at the Sydney Track Classic. Jude, you're the national champion over 3,000. You've got one better than last year.
Yeah, pretty happy with that one. Coming back from injury at the end of last year, it's good to have a turnaround and, you know, one up from last year. But pretty solid training over the Christmas holidays down at Falls Creek, so I think that really helped me get in shape, so I'm really happy with this one.
It was a quality field, wasn't it, that you've come up against? And I mean, Sam really put it to you in that last lap. You just found something, got onto his shoulder and really kicked home, but it was a tough field, wasn't it?
Yeah, full credit to the boys because they just brought the heat out there today. I was sort of tunnel vision from 200, just couldn't believe I was at the front. And yeah, didn't pay attention to anyone else. I just wanted to get to that line, and I did, so I'm pretty happy with it.
So the tactics of the race, you know, there was a pacemaker and he really went for it early. It was strung out. In the early stages of a race like that, when you've got a quality field, you're just thinking, just keep relaxed. What are you thinking?
Exactly right, yeah. Through about 5 laps, I think, I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling good for 5 laps in. And I was with guys who I, you know, look up to, so it's also a good experience, you know, being shoulder to shoulder with those sort of guys. So trying to just hang on to them is an experience, like, you know, it's unreal. So just happy to race this race with them. So, yeah.
Now, you broke Ryan Gregson's record last year in the 3,000 metres. You are still 19. You're 20 on Thursday, so it still counts. You've broken that record again.
No, I won't take it. I'm sure.
We'll take it.
No, I'm sure one of these young blokes in the race, like Charlie Sprott and some Victorian kids are doing really well. So I'm sure it's not going to last too long. You know, there's some under 18-year-olds who are pushing it now. So, yeah, I hope someone takes it soon. Yeah, don't want to have all that pressure on my shoulders. So, yeah.
Well, Jude, fabulous effort. I mean, distance running in Australia is just going from strength to strength. Well done. That was a great run, and you're the national champion over 3,000 metres. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, look at that. 64-64. We got the distance just as we threw the Tams and they called it out. So a very nice looking number there. He won't forget that PB. 64-64. Not PB. Meet record. If he was if Jude was a New Zealander, that would count. It's age on the day.
Oh, is it?
For New Zealanders, for New Zealand records. It does give everyone the same amount of time to break every record. But look, you know, 7:47. It's an unbelievable effort. And I think we had our first 4 or 5 in the 7:47s.
It's a
See
sensation.
Cam Griffith and Sam McEntee, they're waiting for their medals as well, because that was a national championship.
Well, just the names in that race that he's taken down. McEntee, Rio Olympian, Jai Edwards, Tokyo Olympian, Matty Clark, Tokyo Olympian and steeplechase. It's just an amazing field he's taken down. 7:46, 2:6, 4 100s it was.
Wow.
One of the barest of margins you can get over the 3K, 7:47.30, and then Sam McEntee 2 tenths behind, 7:47.56. It was a fantastic way to end proceedings on the track tonight.
Well, look at this. Charles Sprott in 14th, our under-20 athlete, 7:59.95. That is unbelievable. The world under-20 qualifier is 8:15. He's destroyed that. Even Archie Noakes in the field there, the juniors, well, 8:11, but 7:59.95 from Sprott. Wow.
It goes to Tamsin's point as well, and we saw in the Adelaide Invitational 14 under 14 for the 5K, 14 under 8 for the 3K.
Oh,
How good are they going?
That means we just have to have big fields. The bigger the field, the more people go sub. That's fair enough. No, they really did well with that pacemaker. That's a fantastic run from Sprott. It's just it's such a barrier. I'm sure he wasn't thinking about the 8-minute barrier that much, but to do that in that field, and he might not have felt like it was right up there, but to go some. So McEntee receives his bronze medal just in front of us. Cam Griffith, he'll grab the silver. And Jude Thomas has upgraded his silver from last year to take out the gold. I've got to say, it was a fantastic Sydney Track Classic. What were your personal highlights from tonight, James?
Well, that has to be one of them. I think that was just a phenomenal race from a race perspective, and also Jude, massive coming of age victory for him. It was brilliant. Ella Connolly has to be one of the standouts as well, to go the 1-4 double and to go 52-2-3, I think it was, for a PB 27 minutes after a 1 is quite astounding. And Matt Dani to finish things off with a meet record, breaking his own meet record, was pretty good as well.
Yeah, you just took them all mine. Thanks for that, James. You just stole all my highlights. Look, fair enough. They were the highlights. And talking of one of those highlights, we have Tamsin with Matt Dani.
Yeah, I'm the lucky person who gets to stand here. Maddie, Dani, you've just thrown the meet record. What a way to start after a 4th place at the Olympics. First throw since then. Pretty special.
Yeah, well, I mean, after that, I think it was 3rd round, getting so close to the meet record, I kind of thought, well, I was short at Tokyo, so I didn't want to relive that, being just short again. So finally found that extra gear. So that was kind of the mantra for this year, is just being able to find the extra gear when I need it. So it was a good start. I'm happy with that. I didn't really have any expectations, considering we're in such heavy load, and I was like falling asleep yesterday and the day before from a big week. So it's just nice to be competing again and just having fun.
Does your mindset change when you come into a season as, you're one of the top discus throwers in the world? People are watching you now and talking in terms of medals at major championships. Does your mindset change, or you just still try to keep it just that simple, throwing the discus? Yeah,
well, I think that, I enjoy the process of, being an athlete and competing and stuff. That's kind of the main thing for me. So, at the end of the day, the goal is to win, and that's where I want to progress to. So, if the pressure's there, that's fine. At least I'm doing the right things to have that kind of pressure. So, yeah, I just got to keep going the way that I am and just keep progressing. And, considering the way that I started last year leading into Tokyo, I'm meters ahead, and I'm uninjured, which is nice. So it's just nice to have a really good progression, and training's just training the house down at the moment. So it's really enjoyable.
Well, that's exciting to hear, because going into Tokyo, it was an interrupted preparation, and you still managed to finish 4th, so close to that medal podium. It was 5 centimetres. With an uninterrupted training season into Eugene, Oregon, you've got to be thinking about hitting that podium now, huh?
Yeah, I think that, without getting ahead of myself, I look back at last season, but just before I did my rib injury, I was at 66 metres in training, and that was a good indicator, because I throw further in comp than in training. So, so the fact that I went from that injured and then back to starting at 53 metres and then going back to 67 in 4 months or whatever it was, the fact that now we have a great prep, a continuous prep, where we've just been consistently improving in training, and we're hitting all the marks that we were prior to Tokyo, it's exciting. It's just executing in that 2.5 metre concrete circle. It's just getting the throw together and feeling fresh and just going for it. Not being tied down by what's possible, what's not. It's just throw the plate as far as you can. It's simple. Just be simple in the process.
I love that you think that's simple. It looks incredibly difficult to us mere mortals, but the camaraderie between the discus throwers in Australia, it's pretty special. Was it fun to be back out there with the other Aussie throwers tonight? Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy our culture in throws, and the way that everyone supports us. And it's very sad to be the first year without Dani, her and I pushing each other. So that's pretty. It does suck, and I really enjoy competing against her, and she really pushed me to be a better athlete. So, it's awesome seeing these up-and-coming athletes, though, and, working with a few of them just on and off, giving them some advice and seeing them compete and put that into their throws as well. It's fun. I enjoy it. Well, a fabulous start to domestic season, Maddie. Well done. Congratulations on the meet record at the Sydney Track Classic. No, thank you. Thanks for everyone watching and coming to support the Track Classic and coming to cheer. So, thank you.
Well, it's not that simple. I don't think I can actually get one of those plates, as he says, in my hands. That is literally a plate. But Matt Dani taking out the win there. Darcy Miller in second place. Bryce Nolan, Dan Golubovic, Jackson Mellor and Alec Diamond. Now, they were also out there with the ladies. We'll see who took out that competition very, very shortly. Maybe not as short as we'd like. Oh, there we go.
Suspense.
Jade Lally, 59.90. He threw a 61.27, I think it was, at Queensland Champs. And Taryn Golshevsky and Marley Rayquasa. Marley, one to really look for, the junior athlete. And Taryn, she was very, very close. I think she was sitting 33rd towards Tokyo and broke her leg. I think playing soccer just in the lead up. So this is the first few throws back from a pretty serious injury. So it's fantastic to see Taryn back out there. And that pole vault competition that was taking place earlier, Courtney Smallercombe taking the win just ahead of Jamie Scroop, Madeline Lawson, Raf Corney, Olivia Gross and Elizabeth Barrell. Actually, I think now would be a fantastic time to start the track classic because I feel like it's warmer and stiller right now than it has been all day.
I almost can't believe it. I took my jacket off halfway through that meet. So.
Well, the track was heating up, the action was hot. But
it was.
This is actually really, really good conditions. But we've wrapped up another one of our track classics, and it's not a long wait like after Adelaide. We have to wait till Sydney. It is literally next week, 7 days till the Melbourne Track Classic. I hope you're going to stay tuned. Here's our highlights. Thank you to James. Thank you to Tams. And it's been fantastic here at the Sydney Track Classic, brought to you by Chemist Warehouse. My name's Matt Lynch. I hope to see you in a week's time.